privileges for marriage, but really it's them justifying taking away privileges from other people. Is the way that I see it. So I don't think government should be like, it doesn't really make sense if you think of it like, why would government have a role in recognizing your personal relationship? Yeah, I don't.
Well, I guess it's just a fundamental disagreement on what marriage is and its role in society. I would say that when a man and woman come together, they're likely to be producing children. This all changed once the artificial contraception became very popular. But historically, it was the case, and I believe marriage is intended to be a union where a man and woman produce children or are together for their entire lives.
I agree with that, but why is the state recognizing that?
Sure, because it's a good thing for the state to incentivize, and it's good for the state to say, if you are married and you are the sole provider, for example, or even if you're not the sole provider, but you and your wife are working, or you're working to support your wife and kids, we probably should tax you less because you're going to be raising these children.
But I want everybody to be taxed less, and I
agree too.
Yes,
I want to abolish the income tax.
Yes, I want everybody to be taxed less, and I'm in favor of things like if you have like child tax credits, and even something like we've seen Poland and is it Hungary or just Poland?
I think it's Hungary as well.
Hungary. In order to encourage birth rates, but I don't necessarily see that as being the same as saying like the government needs to define marriage, especially I don't know, when we look at the fact that so many people are getting married and not having children, it's looking like we have if that is the reason for government recognizing marriage, it's not looking like it's been effective.
LVO Toro, the Fancy Action Now, and this is election night coverage provided above by TIMPOOL and Company. They are quite what I would call middle of the road, and they are young. There's one old bald guy with a massive beard, so old guys rule. So enjoy. I'm going to play The Sinking City.
Trump is still winning the popular vote, but like Lauren pointed out earlier, New York actually is New York reported?
New York's blue, yes, indeed.
Boom.
80%.
Sorry. My first time playing The Sinking City.
I voted red. Okay. All my friends voted red.
The fact you didn't vote hard enough and you didn't bring enough friends to the polls.
You didn't vote hard enough.
Oh yeah, maybe not. So Democrat way. Come on now.
I'm curious. So
anyway, this is LVO Tour, the Fancy Action Now. This is election night 2020. I've got a cup of cocoa.
Attitudes of the average person on the streets.
There you go.
And part of the reason
I've got a cup of cocoa.
People you would just like run into at a bar or something or in public. Maybe not necessarily your close circle of friends because we all have biased circles.
And we're hanging out here, election night.
You have noticed.
Cold chilling.
Older people.
With The Sinking City. Just look at that splash screen.
Like that. People that are.
And that's all I'm looking at.
It's like old school New Yorkers.
The Curse of Cthulhu.
Born and raised there are voting Republican.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Getting effed up. Like it's
that
that
makes
simple.
sense. Yeah, I really don't.
We're born and
So
raised
I do
there.
not have TIMPOOL's permission to run his stream on my channel.
Remember, it's a lot of college. It's a big college town.
That's very true.
It's a big. There's
I gotta get up here.
NYU and Columbia. And
It's a big college town, baby.
People are brilliant that go there, I'm sure, but they're also really
Uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I would 100% see where
there's a lot of artistic schools. It's a big.
All right, I have to go into the stream.
And it's a big urban city.
And I have to edit.
Well,
So
it's interesting, especially if you look at.
Because I want to add Tim in there.
the role
Tim
that someone
Pool.
like Giuliani had in New York. It does kind of seem like even though they're, New Yorkers are
hashtag
leftists, it does
Tim
seem like when it comes to law and
Pool.
order, New Yorkers want things done, and they were willing
Okay.
to even vote for Giuliani to do that.
And
maybe like this is
then
like all these
add him
riots
as a
are kind of
tag.
Inspiring similar sentiments.
Oh, 100%. I agree with you. I think the riot. If the riots and COVID didn't happen, I don't think New York would have gone. It's not red still, but I don't think it would have gone a little bit over to the red side.
I agree with the young woman.
Yeah. So if the
Gonna
riots
pop that chat out.
I would have just said Trump had this whole thing in the bag.
Yeah,
I mean, there would
me
be
too.
no point in watching
For
this,
sure.
But because of the civil unrest, because of the economic recession, it's been a more complicated prediction to make.
Wow.
So what was most interesting to me was that I don't think that anybody noticed when they were riding like this. Go for it, Seamus. You're good to go.
I was just gonna grab water. I'm still.
Oh, I
Unless
suppose.
you're kicking me out.
He's just going to
No,
grab
you can
water
grab
off camera,
water, I
bro.
guess.
Come on
I
now.
guess that's all right.
To sneak away.
No. I had to draw
Get the live
attention to
chat
Seamus.
All right. I think we got
Right, so,
everything
one of the things I noticed with the
rolling.
rioting and stuff is that they weren't paying attention because they find that rioting tends to put Republicans in power. It's like you guys, it really
Well, that
does.
makes sense.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so, what
Rioting
so
puts
is that
Republicans in
protests
power.
Put Democrats in power. protests put Democrats.
Is there some reverse psychology going on there?
Like, look how
Perish forbid.
Oh, but now you're becoming the oppressors.
Okay, the sinking
Now
city,
you're hurting innocent people.
election
That's
night.
exactly what Don,
Let's have a good time.
what Don
Right.
Lemon said. It's affecting.
You've
the
got
polls.
TIMPOOL
So
coverage,
No,
live
I was
election
so
coverage
interested to
right
see that he
there.
noticed that, and I was like, oh.
Right there. Raise the roof. TIMPOOL live
No.
stream.
Republicans win. Law and order, that wins.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Law and order, baby. You start burning shit down. People want law and order.
Kamala,
Uh-huh.
maybe
Can't blame
a
'em.
law and order type person, we can win some people back over the Democrats.
the
But
worst.
it's such a strange thing, right? Because it's obvious that the reason Joe Biden said I'm going to pick a woman of color is because he's trying to pander to progressives.
Black. Yeah,
But
Uh-huh.
then,
black vote, yeah.
And
but,
Yeah.
but he picked the one person that
worst.
every progressive I know hates.
Everyone.
I don't know a single
Kamala
progressive who
Cobb.
can stand Kamala
Kamala
Harris.
Cobb, yeah.
My favorite thing, one of my favorite things to come out of, his pick was the left hates old cis straight white men.
It's true.
Yeah.
Cis straight white men.
I know.
And cops.
And
And
they
he
picked
picked
two.
And cops.
Oh my gosh,
Do
what
you
the heck?
think Elizabeth Warren would have been a better nod to progressives than Kamala Harris?
No, she's a fake Indian. There's no way.
really
But
is.
She's a fake Indian? Is that what you just said, brah?
And then
But
what
they
she
don't
did,
care about that.
But her follow-up was even more offensive. Well, but here's the thing: Trump would have torn her apart with it.
Oh man.
They knew they couldn't put her up against Trump because not only did she say that she's Native American, but she took a DNA test, which showed that she was like 0.001%
Whiter
And
than the
then-
average
Follow
person.
the
Not only whiter than
omens.
the average person, but she used that DNA test that said she had some ambiguous Native DNA from somewhere in America and said, "I am Cherokee."
Yeah.
Which would be like me saying like, "Oh, I have a slight amount of European DNA. Guess I'm French." Like that's not how it works.
The
The Cherokee
only thing
Nation.
that came from
I
that
guess
test
you're
was
French.
Elizabeth Warren proving her stunning
Exactly.
racial
Anyway, welcome to the live stream. This is LVA
My
Toro
goodness.
Fancy Action now.
When Trump
The
tweeted
Sinking
Elizabeth Warren
Cities. I've never played it before. It's
Yeah.
brand new to me.
Because she was one like
TIMPOOL
Did
election
you see
coverage
the TikToks
right
They
there.
were blowing up about when I just took a
I watch a
DNA
lot of different type of commentary.
I'm
One thing I
100%
like
says
about
white and somebody
TIMPOOL
goes, "Oh,
is
Oh yeah, for sure.
he's got kind of a
100%,
foot
yeah.
in each
I would say so.
world.
Alright,
You
Seamus,
know,
should we do
he's
a couple
not
more
one
super
way or
chats?
the
Got a
other.
couple lined up for you.
And
there
he
that
tends to
win
vote
one.
his conscience.
Brandon D, I don't
I know
believe
that
Tim
Hillary Clinton
but I
came
find
out
it
and said,
here.
vote your
All of them.
conscience
Nobody
very
does it better.
recently.
Thanks for making it easy.
And I mean, I just thought that
appreciate all of
was
you. Greetings from Baltimore.
kind of strange. I don't know. That's a weird statement.
We are in a different place.
Dear Mrs. Mr. Charles Reed, as you requested, I've researched the outbursts of hysteria and visions
at
of the
least
city
wait
of
till I
Oakmont.
watch it.
Yeah, seriously, it's a Lawrence.
Once
act.
Lauren
Such cases
all
are
bets
indeed
off.
frequent
All bets are
here.
off.
All
He'll
bets
tell
are off.
everyone.
Yeah.
John Doe said,
Huh?
"Thank y'all, Muslims for Trump."
Very
I think,
cool.
I think Muslims would
person
support
who
Trump
might
more than
help you with
most
it.
people.
Inshallah.
Sure,
God willing.
God willing.
You'd be surprised.
I think so.
Yeah. So yeah,
Cordially.
that's interesting. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that they certainly.
Johann Vanderberg.
Yeah,
Well,
it's,
this is
it's
the-
one of the really interesting, weird allegiances, the way the progressive left kind of, I don't know, defends
Even the
Islam at
ugliest
every
monsters
turn.
have
When if you look
vulnerable
at actual,
spots.
like Islamic beliefs, they're
All right,
not
we loaded.
very progressive.
No.
No, they're really not.
This game I'm very excited about.
They're
I
more
love the Lovecraftian
Yeah,
mythos.
it's funny seeing the way that they attack someone like
And this game seemed to do a better job than the Call of Cthulhu
next
did.
breath, a lot of these
Seemed
news
to.
outlets are kind of, I mean,
Islamophobia,
defending, yeah.
Islamophobia.
Call of
Yeah.
Cthulhu was kind of
Blasphemy
meh.
laws
Well,
too.
isn't it funny?
It was
that,
okay, but you know,
they spent
to me it was like a 360 game. You know, it's just
at least
it was okay.
questioning whether
A
or not
mediocre
this woman would
360
be able to
game.
serve on the court because of her religious beliefs. And then they had the
Oh,
audacity to say
bro.
she was a
Oh man.
Seriously.
Wait, are we going to talk about, since you're here, Seamus, should we talk about the Catholic question?
Ooh, we
What-
can,
what,
and then
on
we'll switch our
Amy
guests.
Coney
What is the
Barrett?
Catholic
yeah,
question?
how there are
ICB?
disproportionate amount of Catholics on the Supreme Court.
Oh,
Don't you
Seamus,
think that's
shots
suspicious?
across the bow.
I don't have
My
a problem with it. I
goodness.
certainly
Of course
don't
he
have a problem with
doesn't.
Yeah.
it. Good. Yeah, is there a disproportionate number of Catholics?
I think there is.
Makes
There
sense.
is.
Yeah.
And it's
I
funny-
was unaware. I didn't know that,
He's like,
guys. I didn't
"That's
know there was a
wonderful."
disproportionate number
It's
of
very
Catholics.
cinematic.
And actually, if you look at when presidents pick,
bureaucracy.
it's usually
I've
like
heard it tries a
Protestant
little too hard to be
Catholics. Like,
cinematic
it's very-
sometimes.
Like usually, a Protestant president will be picking a Catholic VP.
Because Trump is secretly one of us. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But
Secretly
there
a
are some people who are
theocrat.
saying, I think they were saying that Melania might have brought a statue of our Lady of Fatima to the White House. I need to double check on
What?
this.
That's
yeah.
craziness. I didn't hear
yeah,
about
it's
that.
Fantastic.
Is Melania Catholic?
I think she's
so.
Orthodox.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I know she's Eastern European, right?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
country is she from specifically?
Slovenia.
Oh, Slovenia. Yeah. I would need to double check on that, but I think that Trump is.
This guy's
he's
whack.
certainly more friendly to Catholics than. In a weird way, I almost want to say he's more friendly to Catholics than any president of my lifetime. And what's strange is it's not as if Trump is like a Protestant. He is nominally Christian, but nobody's fooled. Trump's not a religious, or he hasn't seemed to be a religious person. I think he might be. I think maybe his faith has developed.
I think he might be. I don't doubt that he probably may believe in God, but I don't think he's living a Christian lifestyle, and I don't think that's a shocking thing to say.
No. I mean,
yeah.
he's in his
Not with some of the
third-
things he said.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure not. Yeah.
Of course not. Now, again, it's possible for anybody to change, but, and again, I think Trump has been very, very good for Catholics, but it is interesting that he's mostly nominated Catholics to the Supreme Court. I like it.
I love it.
So vote for him.
doesn't
Don't
mind.
vote for Biden. It's so funny because, like I mentioned, people have been using this strange, very empty identity politics.
That
for
looks like
Catholics
like
say,
I'm
well,
supposed to
Biden's Catholic,
take a
and
picture of
everybody's
that, or
Technically Catholic.
but he isn't. Like he's
really
baptized.
not.
So if he is baptized Catholic, but he doesn't practice the faith because he rejects church teaching.
And I mean, come on, if you're gonna vote for someone just for being Catholic, Mike Pence. Like,
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Altar boy Mike Pence.
Yeah, Mike Pence,
Seriously.
right? And Mike Pence, I think, is isn't he?
Altar
he's
boy?
evangelical, right? He's not Catholic anymore. He left the faith. He's Protestant, but
No.
he went to Catholic school in Chicago, I believe.
Yeah, he was, because his family, a lot of the Pence family is, I think, Catholic.
Well, that's nice.
from
It
what I
gives you kind of
understand.
like a hey, you found it all.
I remember looking this up online, trying to
Have
find
I?
his
Oh,
Pence
have I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
old-
What is that,
Seamus,
storage?
we got some state updates. You want to look at these?
Yeah, let's take a look at.
Uh,
First of all, I
hello.
want to point out the fact that
Crafties.
Florida is 93% reporting, and
They are
everyone's been
not
saying
calling it.
Florida is leaning towards Trump, but the New York Times isn't calling Florida.
Nor Georgia, nor North Carolina.
Yeah.
Wait, is North Carolina still going for Biden?
I don't think so. They
Really?
redone the
okay.
color. So I was looking at with Shane.
Is there a crouch?
Look,
Oh, that's a
North
crouch.
Carolina and
Okay.
Florida are now gray. I'm sorry, you guys can't look. But North Carolina and
That's
Florida
a little bit
are
of a
gray
racy
again.
photo.
Before they were blue.
Oh, and now they're gray.
And they're gray.
Another
so we've
gray
got a few
state.
red states over there in the middle, to the surprise of absolutely
We
no
might
one.
get some more Catholic Supreme Court justice.
I
is what
hope
we're hearing.
so.
Well, so I'm looking at the chat right now. People are saying Texas is currently blue, but they expect
What?
that.
Oh my goodness! What
Yeah.
what a shift that would be if Texas
I wouldn't
became
be
blue.
super surprised.
I wouldn't
Me neither.
either.
I think
Maybe
I do
somebody
think it's possible.
California.
It's
It's
possible.
the Californians' fault.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, that's
man.
what happened to Arizona.
Here's the thing, 'cause, like the value that California has always provided this country is it kept a huge number of people who just vote very stupidly in one place.
That's true. Oh my
And
gosh.
So we were willing to
See, that
tolerate
tells
the
me
existence of
like that
California,
little aspect where they
now
just
it was
repeat
it was a black
a
hole that sucked
single
in all the
line.
terrible things.
This is the
Now they're
first
demonstrating
person
how
you're
terrible
meeting,
stuff.
right?
Here's
This is the
thing.
first person you're interacting with.
How horribly that
And I'll
was.
just say that's not a plus. That's a negative. Like if you deliver your line and then they just shut up, oh, I would prefer that.
So many
to-
people are saying that.
Now go, now go, now go. No, it's like, hey man, either deliver your line and then you're done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's-
That's the reason you left. Don't make it the same here.
Exactly. You're gonna do the exact same thing. It's insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
And California has, I think, the highest state income tax, right? It's 11%.
It's close to New York. Yeah, it's higher than New York.
It's ridiculous.
Oh.
So I'm from the Chicago area originally, Illinois, and it's pretty bad. But man, the state income tax is not that high. It's really, really horrible. We're horrififically in debt. And I
That's
think
true.
because of Cook County, Illinois has more debt per capita than any other
Your
state.
character models look okay. Like the player's character model
Glad it's not
looks
good.
really good.
When it comes to the weather, I wouldn't mind.
He
it
looks
being
like
the
current
same.
gen
It's
at
California.
least.
I would love the weather, dude.
The
Let's take a
other,
couple
this
super chats,
guy,
run over the states and we'll switch our guests.
and
if you guys are
the
okay.
beard looks a little fakey fake.
They'll leave and
He
I'll
looks
leave.
okay. Yeah, he's got some details.
Serious, can't
He's
leave.
happy to stay.
He is. Look at him. He's
I just
loving
never
it.
stop talking, so if
It's
there's a
great.
microphone in front of me,
I
it's
love
improbable.
it.
Well, now that Tim isn't here, you should go like full day as
About my problem.
Yes,
What's
you
to
do.
do with the city? Nice suit.
Let me guess. Let me tell you all about the message. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The
All
message
right,
of
all right.
Fatima, and we're gonna.
Let's read some super chats before we go that route, and then we'll make that happen. What do you think, Seamus?
I think that sounds fantastic.
Cool, cool, cool. All right, let me scroll down a bit. I'm going to read some of these. Ooh. I know you guys know my vision hasn't been great. Let me look at CBA Buck here. Repost because lots of super chats tonight. This is correct. I'm sorry, dude. I'm trying to get to him. I'm in the heart of Virginia. State dens
Well.
kicked the gun-owning hornet's nest in January. I remember this. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Tried to felonize half of the state. I remember that as well. We are the swing state and nobody realized. I am going to laugh myself silly if we pull off the flip. I'm excited for Virginia. They're gray right now, I think, on the New York Times. No, Virginia's not, right? Right, Lauren? Lauren's giving me a weird look.
I mean, from what I've seen, it was weird. Like, they had, most of the reporting was for Trump, but they had called it for Biden, and apparently that was because the areas that they
We got up there, Maniac Cop. Oh my God, a voice from the past. How you doing, bro?
I know, it's
So
challenging.
Pretty southern, yeah.
I know, it's pretty blue, too. So I
Later, you're gone?
Okay, that maybe
You're
that's
already
the
gone,
issue
bruh?
then, because
Come on now.
Trump was coming in strong in Virginia, but they were calling it for Biden, and I was like, why? That's so weird. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
I think it's because places they hadn't counted yet.
That's entirely possible. That's probably it. All right, let me do one more stupid chat, and then we'll have us all switch out.
Intelligentsia.
Also, for anyone who cares, AOC just officially won re-election according to Twitter. So.
I'm not surprised.
Ew. Ow. Okay, well, we have the AOC commentator coming on.
Uh-oh.
I'm excited to hear what he has to say. Alrighty, one sec. If
The
Trump
AOC
wins,
commentator?
can you please annex us on the UK. Would really appreciate it. Peace. I wish that we could. I would love to annex you guys. You guys are great. Our forebears who gave us this great love of freedom. And then we have Mooser6. Thanks for the conversations here. It helped influence my wife and I's vote. Very cool. Would the Timcast group ever consider sponsoring an amateur race car team? Ooh, that sounds interesting. That sounds fun, right? Maybe
A
we
race
should.
car?
A
Right.
race car team. Amateur race car team?
I'll get my Thunderbird.
That sounds amazing. Let's do it. I'm calling this for Tim. I'm calling it. We're going to do it. We'll make it happen. P.S. Tell my wife to wake up. She is missing the party. Come on, lady. Wake up. You are, in fact, missing the
I
party.
think he's closer to her. He could probably wake
He could
her
probably,
up.
like, poke her in the back or
He's like,
something.
hey, man,
right?
please get out of bed.
Hey, man. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. All right. One more, and then we'll switch teams
Wow.
and we'll get going. From Sauron. Ooh. The law.
And I don't get to tell him he's got a nice suit.
What is allowed in law ultimately be seen as moral.
Maniac Cop, what's going? He's like, later, man. Come on now.
I agree with Steve. That's why when people say you can't legislate morality, it's like, well,
Everything
You
is
can.
morality.
Yeah, that's literally what.
100% of
Because
the
otherwise,
time.
it's not wrong to steal. It's just going to cost you some years to steal.
Right.
Yeah, the problem is you should not legislate morality.
All right,
That
shall
should
we
be the
switch out,
culture's
ladies?
job.
We got a couple people waiting in the wings if they want to come over.
Oh.
I think we're ready.
Thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thanks
I'm
for
gonna
coming
leave.
up.
I'll leave in 2 seconds and let them on.
That's
Go
fine.
ahead
You
to,
can if you want.
Yeah.
We'll lose our master ceremonies, but I'll just talk and do super chats every now and then.
I'll just
That'll be
talk and do
fine.
Do you want
secret
me to sit here
chats.
and wait with you?
Now, I understand this map
I'm
is
happy- no, I'm happy. I
key.
actually
Like,
wanted
you
to do the show
really
because I didn't want to.
have
If
to
you have to go to the bathroom.
utilize
No, I
it.
don't. I just didn't want to overstay my welcome. I did want to say, so for everybody,
Uncertainty
Sarah,
Street,
Davis,
that's
Lauren
nice.
knows me,
Thank you, ladies.
but everyone watching, look up the Fatima miracle. It was the largest witnessed public miracle, I think, of I want to say the past 1,500 years, probably past 2,000 years since Revelation.
Wow,
Is
what
the
is
largest,
this?
most witnessed. Yeah, Our Lady at
That was
Fatima is the
interesting.
largest, most witnessed public miracle. So please look into that.
Yeah, check
I
it
would
out.
also want to advise that everybody say the rosary. At least try it if you've never done it
Everybody?
before. Just look, yeah, I'm serious. I think everyone
I've
should
never
say it.
done it.
Yeah,
For
just
our
look
country,
it up.
I would do it for our country.
For our
On
country.
election night.
Yeah, for our country,
100%.
for your
Devil's
soul.
Reef
I would just
Hotel, I
recommend
guess that's
everyone
where I'm
search
headed.
The rosary and just say a rosary, give it a try, be open-minded, even if you're not.
And it
religious.
shows you, like,
Catholic. Start praying that every day.
Heck
what
yeah.
streets
Heck yeah,
are
we should.
underwater.
got a
I
couple
mean,
guesses. Which one should we start with? We have Carrie and we have Andrew from No Walk Run. Which one who wants to talk first? Andrew likes to talk. Let's switch to Andrew. It's true, and you know it. I love Andrew. Let me zoom out on his camera a little bit there, though. But take it away.
let's just wander for a little bit.
I was just looking at Twitter, and
Oh no.
and everybody is
Let's check out the
yelling
atmosphere.
at Fox News because they basically
Got somebody
called
praying.
Virginia, and it looks like Trump is leading by 300,000 votes.
Oh my
Oh,
wow.
So they're like Fox News is the worst, and it's like
they're not.
yeah, well,
Dude, they were saying
they
the
are
same
tonight.
Thing. Well, in 2016, they
The
were saying the same
Charon.
thing. Didn't Fox call it for
Guardian of the Underworld,
earlier-
right?
Earlier on, and
That's
Fox
just
reminded
great.
Trump actually
They
won
give
it.
you like a little
I
squid
don't know,
tribute,
man.
like
I
right
don't
there.
know
Like,
that, but
have a good look,
I
bro.
have to say that's
And you see the little, the
Why do they call
little.
it so early? Because they want to be the first.
No, I think that they just
It
looked
does
at the
seem
data
early. What's
and it
going
just
on?
I think they just looked at the data and that's how they made their appraisal and it's clearly I mean they're saying North Carolina was leaning Biden but it now might be leaning towards Trump.
That's why they made it gray again.
People are also saying, "Oh, Texas is in play. Like Biden's going to take Texas." I'm like,
Texas is not a.
I do not see
Well,
that. How about you? What do you think?
Oh,
She's from Texas.
there's a little melee situation going on.
Well, I just got a text from my boyfriend that it looks like Williamson County might be going blue. Which Williamson County, if you guys aren't familiar, it's a little bit north of Austin, and it's been red for a while. And I've been noticing just in the short time I've been there that it's changing, and so
It's leakage from Austin.
Yes, there's a lot of social justice, even on the local level. Those are some of the elections I'm actually more invested in at the moment. My city council,
Looks pretty good, I must say.
Pushing.
I mean, it's not like throwing me on the floor or anything, but
and doing these sort of
it does have that Lovecraftian atmosphere.
Where they bring in students to accuse faculty members and school board members of being racist on Zoom calls.
That's
where they're
horrible.
But they have an agenda and they're planning all this out. So I've seen this happening around me in my small town, and so I have been a little worried, I guess, about Texas.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, it's not unthinkable that Texas would go blue because of all the people moving from California. We were discussing this earlier. So I really do believe it's in play. I hope Texas goes red. It going blue would be a game changer, but this is something people have been talking about for years. I mean, it's certainly
What happened to your son?
Possible for
Ted
that to happen.
Cruz certainly is very worried about it.
Yeah. So we'll see.
So I know, I mentioned earlier that I know some progressives who voted for Trump.
Yeah.
And never
Very cool.
voted
I love
Republican.
that so much.
And I know some progressives who are voting for Trump. This is an interesting way of thinking about it, but not because they care so much about whether he wins nationally, but because they want to send a message to Californians that Texas is not going to turn blue. Please don't come here anymore.
Right.
Malarkey.
I really
There
want
you
it to
go.
go red, so they stop coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah.
I like it.
Looking locally.
So are you optimistic? You mentioned that there's a possibility of Texas going blue. What do you think is going to happen personally, based on your relationships, or even just the people you talk to on the street?
Well, this guy's obviously
Worried
like
about it,
part
but I-
monkey, for
I
God's
think- I
sakes.
think
He's a
Texas will
gorilla.
stay red. I'm bad at
So?
predictions though, but I think it will stay red just because I was also very worried about Beto. That was the first time I ever voted Republican. I voted for Ted Cruz, so I had my
Beto.
against Beto, because Beto was clearly not a liberal.
Exactly.
He was talking about confiscating guns. He was speaking woke ideology, which is not
So there's
liberal.
the kind of the canon reference
Beto actually got a
to
sizable percentage. Really,
Lovecraft.
and this is in Texas, and he said he was going to take people's guns.
Yes.
Think about that. If that doesn't tell you that Texas could go blue, I don't know what will.
Oh, we got Ty Lord in here.
Plus, with Beto, he never seemed authentic to me. Like he's one of those people who would say anything.
Let's see.
And so when he was running locally,
Can't stay to watch Sinking City and Sinking Country. Classic, bro.
We're not running in Texas, we're running nationally, so now we're going to take the AR-15s.
Oh, that's fair. So he hadn't been saying that prior.
Yes, so then he just immediately said, okay, now I'm coming for the AR-15s too, because I think that's polling well nationally.
Wow. Well, that is very slimy and a typical politician move, but then I should basically correct what I said, because when he did that well in Texas, he had not yet said he was going to take it.
Right, he basically carved them out. And,
Typical.
But he, the other thing about him that I thought was really funny, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, but he seemed to, I guarantee you, he had a speech coach, because he seemed to speak with Obama's cadence and his hand movements, and watching him, I was like, oh, he's trying to evoke
Salty.
this Pavlovian dog thing, and all the people who voted for and loved Obama. We're not consciously thinking about it.
See, why am I not telling him he looks unusual? He knows he looks unusual.
Oh, it's the Obama
What
way of
what good does it say? You look unusual. The guy's got a fucking mirror.
Well, Beto, it's such a weird trend in the last couple years where losers are considered to be competition for the next race. Like Beto, if Beto O'Rourke could not beat Ted Cruz, how's he going to beat Donald Trump?
That's a very good point.
and
That is
this-
a very good point.
And
Yeah.
the same thing with Amy McGrath, right?
Yeah.
Amy McGrath lost a congressional race. And then they go, oh, you know what? Let's put her up against Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, sounds like a great idea.
And like
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
I hear like part of me thinks, well, maybe it's because Beto lost, but he did lose Texas, and he did well in Texas relative to how you would expect a Democrat to perform. But you make a great point. Trump is clearly a much more popular candidate than Ted Cruz. And if Beto couldn't beat him, why is he up against Trump? And why was he running not up against Trump, but why was he even in the primaries to possibly be up against Trump?
I think he thought he had better national appeal.
I think that's what it was. I think that's definitely what it was. Because again, he did do well for somebody running in Texas.
That's a detail we didn't hear.
But I mean, he would
let's be honest.
Beto would not have won his home state against Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and the same thing with. It's just so like Stacey Abrams. A lot of people.
The actual mayor, or the actual governor.
The actual governor.
Georgia.
Yeah,
Stacey Abrams
Yeah, I didn't know.
lost by like 55,000 votes, something like that. And so many people were like, you know what? You know what would be perfect for her? She should run for president. And you're like, what is happening?
Why? What are you talking about?
Well, she did the exact same thing the last person who they put up for president did, lost, and then claimed that it's because she got cheated.
Exactly. It's exactly what Hillary did.
Ty Lord, Maniac Cop, thank you for stopping by. Robert's request. That's
Ever.
familiar.
What is
Do
their
you
deal,
think?
you guys?
Part of me wonders if, all right, they couldn't really have foreseen COVID. So part of me thinks maybe they're like, we're not going to beat Trump. Things are actually going decently well. We said he was going to be the end of the world, that he's Hitler. All he had to do is not be Hitler.
Right.
And he wasn't. So he's probably going to win re-election. So let's just pick a throwaway candidate this time. We don't want to waste anybody good.
Possibly so.
And we'll just run him against Trump. But now things are actually a little bit more dicey than we thought they would be.
Gosh,
and Trump
yeah.
actually really does stand a chance of losing compared to where he was, a year ago. And so I think Biden was probably a throwaway candidate. And it just happened to be the case that he ended up in an election where he would have a shot.
Right. What do you think, Carrie? You had a lot of words.
Well, yeah, when they first picked Biden, I was very confused, and the thought crossed my mind that maybe they don't want to win this one. Like you said,
That's
Hillary,
gotta be
maybe
it.
just because it's been very good for them generating clicks and outrage, to have Trump in office. I was thinking maybe they don't actually want Trump to. It's good for them. They raise a lot of money. Look at all the money they've raised. I mean, Trump is a great lightning rod for them. So maybe they want to keep him around for 4 years and then run someone that's going to win. Although, on the other hand, I mean, so I voted for Tulsi Gabbard in the primaries. I don't think they would ever let him win.
Never. Well, this is the thing. And Tulsi Gabbard was a moment that I would almost say re-red pilled me. There's a statement or a sentiment which has sort of become somewhat of a libertarian banality, and one which I don't entirely agree with. That basically, two-party system is just a duopoly. They're really the same. They want the exact same thing. I don't think that's true. I think there really are significant social differences, but when it comes to the warfare issue, that's certainly the case. And what was really disturbing to me is that Tulsi Gabbard should have been the ideal candidate for the Democratic Party.
Amen.
She's relatively progressive. She's pro-choice, doesn't believe in traditional marriage. She is not Christian. She is a woman. I mean, she checked every single box that you could possibly check, except she questioned the foreign policy establishment.
Yes.
And so they hated her.
Yes. And that was huge.
Yeah. And it's crazy. And Hillary Clinton called her a Russian asset.
Amazing.
That's insane. I mean, she should have been perfect for them. But it was one issue that she just happened to be less bad on.
That's
than
a
the other
will?
Democrats.
I mean,
And so they treated her like
did
she was some
you
kind of
leave
evil
anything to
right-wing
anyone?
plant or Russian actor.
No,
It's kind of like final thoughts more than a will.
It wasn't just her foreign policy.
What
it
else
was,
was it?
It was that she. Well, first of all, for those of you who don't know, like she was basically vetted by the DNC to, be the future of the party. But then when Hillary was facing off against Bernie, and they only had 6 debates, right? And they had something like maybe like 24 debates with Obama and Hillary.
Yeah.
And Tulsi.
All right, everybody. So we got a decision. I've got the. We're watching the results of the election unfold via TIMPOOL's webcast or podcast or live stream or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, well,
That's the
and then
reason.
also she also got behind Bernie Sanders, and that's another thing because he's not a Democrat.
He was not.
And I have to say, I think Bernie Sanders is
I like his bag too. I like his like rucksack.
Yep, for
It's
sure.
nice.
Yeah.
Because let's
Big
well, he
too.
let them take the nomination from him. He didn't fight
did.
the way he could have.
it doesn't matter because
You don't think that matters?
No. First of all, the DNC, people can say, well, yes, they had.
I love the atmosphere though. The graphics are
But
decent.
he didn't get the vote out.
Again, I would say
had
this
a-
is
he
really
had
good,
amazing
like
grassroots
360 graphics.
Right. So
It's
what-
not like like I'm not like, oh my god. I mean,
he's an independent.
you can see this in a Skyrim.
The
It's
most
like
independent, like the longest independent serving in Congress, and that's fine. He leads Democrat when it comes to voting and issues.
but it looks good. I
But
mean, it
what
looks.
he should have done.
I mean, that
was
looks pretty good.
Run.
But I mean, you could tell that's
right. Forget about
that's a
that.
little muddy right there. So I'm gonna say 360 era.
Well,
Interesting.
think about it. To get in the debates, to face off in the presidential debates, not the primaries. Forget the primaries. Because Bernie only
Yeah,
said,
look at that.
He said like one thing over and over again in the debates. He brought nothing new to the table. It was always like, Donald Trump is the most racist president in the history of the modern history of the country, right? So he didn't have anything to say. Everybody knew where he stood. He could have run as an independent. He would have had a grassroots.
I can't believe we're doing like a dissection of Bernie Sanders.
He didn't. The Democrats could fight all they want. Pick Biden, pick whoever. Then during the debates, because you only need to poll at least 15% in national polling, and Bernie Sanders definitely had 15%.
Sure.
Right. So think about it. All he wanted to do was face off against Trump in a debate, which he never got to do. That's because he ran as a Democrat, which is stupid. Because he ran as a Democrat once, and everybody says they screwed him over. That's debatable. But then it would have been a Biden, I guess, a Biden-Bernie-Trump debate, and Bernie would have totally been able to go after Trump, and he definitely would have seemed more coherent than Biden.
Oh, 100%. So, I mean, I fundamentally disagree. I mean, I disagree on 2 points, but when it comes to what you're saying about Bernie probably having had a better chance had he ran third party, it's an interesting thought, but I don't think he would really have a shot
So
at winning.
K
If he
is
would've done
God?
very well, I think he probably would have got a sizable percentage of the vote.
Well, he didn't
but
have a
I
shot
don't
at
think-
winning as a Democrat either.
Well, we didn't really think Joe Biden had a shot at winning until all of this chaos broke out. I think if Bernie Sanders was the nominee right now, he would probably do better than Joe Biden. I do.
Bernie Sanders, Biden was ahead after South Carolina, so this is
Mind Palace.
pre-civil unrest.
I just like the idea. That sounds great. Mind
Realizing,
Palace.
Wow, we cannot vote a Democrat socialist into make him the nominee because Trump's just going to step all over him. So they had to
We
go
got a
to
train
the next
aficionado,
person, which was Biden.
And to be fair, I do not.
which is a symbol
I
of
do not think
dimensional
he
or
would
time
have
travel.
won. I think things have gotten
No, he
crazy over the
would've
past
won.
couple months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trains and tunnels.
I
And
think that he would have been a better candidate than Joe Biden. I do.
I think so too. I do too. And I think well, take it back to 2016.
the real question you wanna ask is,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
I knew a lot of people. One of the first things that clued me into the fact that the 2016 election was going to be strange. was
could
that I
Bernie
had
have beaten
family
Trump? And the
members
answer
who
is
were
yes, he
lifetime
could have.
Republicans
Which is frightening.
telling me during the primary
Because he's a
that
communist
I
who
don't know who I'm going to vote for.
honeymooned
I like
in
Trump and I like
Soviet
Bernie.
Russia.
And
I mean,
I like Bernie. I was still squarely in the social justice left at that point, and I was so confused. Like, is that my conservative uncle likes Bernie?
see, that's a little dark.
But then I started to understand after Trump won. I started trying to figure out why he won, and I think there's part of the reason why people vote sometimes is just this emotional thing that someone makes them feel a certain way. And I think
I'm feeling a
people
little
have
reality
that
warping
feeling
here.
about Bernie that he's authentic, and they also have a feeling about Trump that he's authentic, that he says whatever. he
Again,
thinks,
stating
whether
the
you like
same
it or
lines
not.
over and over
so
again.
At first, I couldn't understand, and now, I mean, even in Tim's house, there's like a lot of people like myself who voted for Bernie, and then today find themselves voting for Trump. How did that happen? I think maybe there's something there that's like emotional that I sort of am like.
He definitely connects with people more than Hillary ever did.
I think so.
And that's not
And-
saying a whole lot.
But
That's true.
Yeah.
He's very much a populist. I think that's part of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bernie's 100% a Bernie was very much a
he's- no,
populist.
yeah, I would
so
say
was
so.
Trump. I think that they have that connection to the people.
Ooh, it's like a ceremonial dagger.
I think both of them appeal to the
That's
working
really
class in a
cool.
way that Hillary never did and that Joe Biden
Yes.
does.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Well, remember, everybody who's, casting a vote for Biden it's basically a vote against Trump. It's not for Biden.
100%
Right,
agree.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't really think. And that,
Does anyone really like Biden?
No.
no,
I don't think so.
no.
Come on,
Not
man.
at all. I know.
And
I
this
really
is what
don't.
we were saying. This is why I think that he was just sort of nominated because they thought, well, this is our burner here. We just want to get rid of somebody.
What do you call that? A
It's not-
rebuilding
I think
year?
I think
Biden is if people if people have any kind of support for Biden, it's one because they think that it can beat Trump, but also because of the nostalgia factor. Because
I think so,
they
too, yeah.
Curse of the
saw
were
it, and
Jaguar.
they're like, wow, let's
get a
try that
return
Biden
to
chair.
normalcy.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's like an
I
adventure
don't think
fan.
Return to normalcy. That's
Gromer.
All
Oh,
the
you got a little
candidates
racy
the
girl
Democrats
there.
had, and they didn't really have any good candidates. There was nobody. And again, this was a year ago, prior to COVID. There wasn't a single person that that was running for the primary that I thought like, oh, this person would really be a serious threat to Trump. I just think they were all really unlikable. But I think Biden was. Probably
Okay,
the
so
least
how do we open it?
likable. Maybe not the least likable, because
No.
now I'm remembering. Now I'm having flashbacks
Cory
to like
Booker.
Elizabeth Warren and Kamala
Yeah,
Harris,
and
who
Kamala
he chose
Harris.
as his VP.
Oh my
Yeah, so
gosh.
Booker and Kamala, but
Yeah.
again, now one of them is going to be part of his administration if he wins. Is
Isn't
his
that-
running mate. So.
Isn't it crazy that out of the
You're
dozens
not gonna let me open it up, you
Democratic
crazy galoot.
candidates, just I mean that's the best they had. It's
Yeah, it was really
insane.
sad.
There were three that were, I would say, the most unlikable for me. And I thought about it a lot. I don't know why I ranked them. Probably Beto, for reasons stated,
Yes, 100%.
Okay,
and Harris.
I missed something there. Something where
Yeah.
I'm not like
How
manipulating it right.
Did you
I mean, I gotta pick it up again and try again.
I think she was
approval
I think she was at 4% or something, and she was going to lose California, which
Right.
was not.
Insanity.
Yeah.
That's her own state.
It's her own state,
Give me a break, too.
and she remember she dropped
Well,
out
nothing is working to get this thing
before the vote
open.
was cast.
Early.
She
Yes.
dropped.
All right.
She dropped out in
Well.
November, I think.
Yeah.
November or like there. She had qualified. Like she was polling very low.
See, there's an
And she
audio
qualified
cue
for the
there.
next debate, and
What am I supposed to do?
Bad. Her
Yeah, I
campaign.
remember.
Her campaign was
It's gross, man.
it was being run by her sister and some guy that helped win her Senate seat, and they were both conflicting, and they were having this like according to reports, they were just having like all these internal struggles of how things should go, and then I remember that she closed down all of her New Hampshire offices, and I'm like, this is over, and I was so happy because
Well,
she was.
What do I do?
She's you talk about people that you talk about Beto
Yeah.
not being
Right.
genuine. She's even
Oh,
she's less. Like she's
yes.
the
Worse.
least genuine
Yeah.
person.
I
on that
agree.
stage.
Gosh.
Like nothing but condescension and smugness. And I watched the vice presidential debates, and I
It
felt
was
like,
horrible.
how does anybody? She's not likable at all.
No.
She's
And-
awful.
And then of course they have responses. You're not allowed to call a woman unlikable.
Exactly.
are.
If-
Sure
if,
you
she was,
are.
if she was
It's
a man, you would love her.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now give me a break.
Right.
Well, they tried that with
Okay,
Hillary
so-
and Trump's lines. They tried using
I saw
Trump's lines
that.
for Hillary.
There's
I'll
some
let
kind of,
remember
like,
when this
gold
is going down.
watch.
They had this mini, like,
It's
thing
making
where
like
they're
all
oh,
kinds
we're gonna
of
pretend this
spooky
person
noise.
This person who's a male is really
And I
Hillary.
just don't
I'm
know
like,
what to do
yeah,
with
no,
that.
they still hate her. They still hate her.
Yeah,
It
they
doesn't matter what
expect
gender
us
it
to be
is.
opposite. They gave two actors, a man and a
I
woman.
remember
They
this.
gave the
Yeah.
woman all of Trump's lines from the debates, and they gave the man all of Clinton's lines. And they
Yes.
thought that they would get a reaction
Nope.
where the audience loved Clinton when it was from the voice of a man, but they liked the lady Trump more than they liked actual Trump.
Yeah,
That's so
th-
funny.
no,
That
this
makes
is-
sense to me.
No,
Yeah.
I
Amen,
remember
brother.
watching that, and it was funny because Hillary actually sounded, or the man playing Hillary sounded like a kind of typical patronizing chauvinist. He was so
Yeah, I
arrogant.
know,
and
right?
And it was
Awful.
like their whole point was, look at how if we reverse the roles, you'd
Yes.
see how terrible what Donald Trump was saying was. It was like, no, it was actually
No,
the
they
exact
liked it
opposite.
even
Hillary
more.
was way less likable as a man.
That's so funny. Okay, Seamus, I'm gonna
Yeah.
pass this off to you because
She's
I really need to
unlikable
go
as
to
a
the bathroom.
woman.
We're
Who
coming up on
cares
my
about
2-hour
her
mark. This is
gender?
usually when I have to go to the bathroom.
She's
Sorry, guys.
unhappy
I will
warmonger.
make
She's got to
Seamus
go to
read
the
some super
bathroom.
chats. We'll look at some states. I really want him to look at Virginia
Why do
because
I
I
have to do
heard
everything?
Hey, 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 hey!
Hey.
Look, this man is giving me.
Which
My
one do
gosh.
I open?
It's already up. It's
Well, I
right
don't
there.
know what to
Oh,
do
no,
with
the
the
Virginia
watch.
one.
It's giving me the
Oh,
strange
I'll show you.
vibes.
I'll pull up Super Chats for you.
And
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back. I'll have another.
Number 1 or number 2?
Just one. I'll
Oh,
be
come
real
on.
quick.
Number
Thanks,
four.
guys.
number 1 or number 2?
Number
I
4.
love it. This sounds like an alien.
See, I like them. They're
So,
young and they're a little goofy, but it's
So
still
Joe
it's fun,
Biden
you know.
has
And that's one of my biggest problem. The
Yeah,
one
that's what
big
it looks
problem I
like.
have with the election,
But this is
these
why I
people
really-
are
yeah, so
too
he's getting-
old.
so
All
that
of
was
them.
confusing me too. I
Mitch
thought it was
McConnell,
No,
too
nobody
old.
Biden-
Go away.
Joe Biden
Nancy
has
Pelosi,
41%
too
of the
old.
vote,
Go
and Trump
away.
has 56%,
These
and
old
they're calling
vampires,
for Biden.
these
Right.
old
It's bad.
creatures
Because
lurking in the
there's,
halls of power.
some
Chuck
population
Schumer,
density
you're
that
too
usually goes
old.
Democrat, they have
Go
Biden. Yeah,
away.
Yeah, this is like exit polling too.
Good
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
Trump, it's like a 74-year-old and a 78-year-old running for president.
Okay. Oh no.
You're
So
too
you're the
old.
on me?
Go away.
Well,
Give
now
somebody
he's
who's
talking
like
back at
40 or
my
50 a
family
shot.
to respond.
God damn
I
it,
will read
man.
some super chats for everybody.
Freaking terrible,
So-
bro.
Hey Tim and crew. This is from Phil S. Hey Tim and crew. Much appreciation for what you guys do. As a guy who's in your age group, good to see my generation stepping up. Hashtag Rhode Island Red Surge. Cool. Thank you so much, Phil. We've also got from.
I'm not getting a you
6.
found all the
Thanks
evidence
for the
either.
Conversations here. It helped influence my wife and I's votes. Would the Timcast group ever consider sponsoring? Oh, I'm sorry, we already read this one. Amateur race car team. He got
race
his
car.
bang. He got his bang for his buck though, because you got a super chat read twice.
You know, I have to say real quick, I hear the the race car, and I'm thinking that movie Drive with Ryan Gosling.
Oh yeah.
I never
Remember
saw that one.
They were gonna the Albert.
What
Brooks
am I
was gonna
missing?
sponsor-
I've covered every
sponsor,
inch of this thing.
Ryan Gosling in his race car and Breaking Bad man. I can't remember any character's name. Anyway, whatever.
Breaking Badman, the main character.
The mechanic, Ryan Gosling's friend
Oh, okay.
in Drive, the guy that gets cut
Jesse
up really bad.
Brian.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Heisenberg.
Heiser, yeah. So we've got from Zane Bruce. I
Hello,
was
Zane.
Yang Gain. How's it going? Yeah, thank you for your donation. I was
Okay,
Yang
so
Gain, voted Trump.
we're looking at the front of this
The
thing.
Bernie in terms of non-establishment working class
And
white
what are we
candidate.
doing? I'm getting the audio
Thought
cues.
he was decently
I'm
likable.
getting a visual cue.
Likable as a candidate.
And I don't know what to do.
About when
Um,
decisions based on emotion or on who they think is authentic, and they're not so much looking at policy. I think Bernie comes off as authentic, Tulsi
does?
came off as authentic, and I would say also Yang.
Yeah.
Andrew Yang was a terrible candidate. Terrible candidate. He was a one-line, like a one policy man, which was the freedom dividend. We're gonna, it's like everything. He's like, oh well, we gotta. If you want to cut down on crime in the prison population, everybody gets $1,000 a month. It's like he was like
You
a
got a skill
ninja.
But how
tree.
did you feel about him? Did you feel he was well-intentioned?
I thought he was stupid.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you thought he was stupid. She's asking, like, is this the kind of
Yeah.
person who you could understand why people would appreciate the appeal of? Because I agree with what you're saying that UBI is a bad policy, and it was kind of gimmicky. But at the same time, he was clearly a likable candidate. And I wouldn't call him stupid. He was wrong, but he was
See,
one of the
aim,
smarter people on that stage.
items,
Not saying much, but if you actually see the conversations he
Run,
had or see
gaming,
that interview with Joe
climb,
Rogan, it was
reload,
clear what he was
crouch.
talking about.
He was
Loot
I
objects.
agree to disagree.
Yeah,
I think he was
smart.
First of all, I think that
Mind's
slogan,
Eye, tutorial.
Make America Think Harder. I think that's such a condescending. It's such a condescending.
I would agree with
slogan.
that.
It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
America think
Oh,
harder,
there you
or
go.
Think harder. I think Andrew Yang was again. It's like he tried to. They would say, well, hey, talk about like they at the debates, talk about foreign policy. How would you do this? Well, the freedom dividend would he tried to.
That's all he talks about.
He tried to shoehorn it into every little thing he did.
Whoa.
The only thing he had, and he was totally wrong about it too. It was like, well, Martin Luther King was in for UBI.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's-
do you think Martin Luther King wanted to give like the rich white people like $1,000 a month and also the poor
Doubt.
people? Because
Yeah, I don't think
guess
so.
what? That's not going to do anything for.
Okay, he's
for
floating above
equity.
the
It's like
bed.
everybody's going to have $1,000 more, and the fact is that Joe Rogan, when he was on Joe Rogan, he said, well, you know, if you get $1,000 a month, Joe Rogan, you're not going to put it away.
Right.
And that's what a lot of rich people, it's supposed to be stimulus. And a lot of rich people would have just socked it away. I know I got my stimulus check, and not that I'm a rich person, but I got my stimulus check, and I didn't go spend it on anything. It's just still on the card that they say, you know.
One thing people don't realize about UBI either is there are people who they're trying really hard at a hobby that they want to make into a career, right? And
Wow.
they don't make enough money to live off of it, but they could make enough money to live off it if they were getting an extra $1,000 a month. Point is, when you give people extra money to subsidize their lifestyle, whatever they're choosing, then they don't.
I'm hallucinating? Is that what's going on here?
Maximally productive for
It's
the
kind
rest
of
of the
cool.
population, because there's no longer that necessity.
Is that
point.
fear? Is
So
that like a fear
this was
reaction?
made by somebody, and I
Oh,
read this, and I
whoa.
thought it was interesting. I mean, it's really difficult to the point where you could make a full-time living doing what we do, for example. It takes quite a while, and many people try and they're not able to. But to be able to get to the point where you could be making a living doing this if you were also receiving $1,000 a month is a little bit easier. And so you would actually, I think you would end up with an economy flooded by people trying to pursue careers that were really, really in extremely low demand, but they were able to scrape together just enough combined with their UBI to make a living off of it. And then careers which really were in demand would be underserved.
All right,
as a
they're like
result.
running out of
And this
here
is
because
also
they're
why
seeing that
social planning
spooky
doesn't
shit
work.
go
There
down.
are so many different nuances to an economy and
Okay,
production that
so
to just throw money,
we
even if you're
found
throwing money
that
at everyone
piece.
equally, it's going to screw the entire equilibrium up, and you're not going to end up producing the things that people need, which is pretty much what the economy is supposed to
Seems
do,
like
right?
an issue,
Yeah,
yeah.
it seems
So
like
you're
kind of
sa-
a
you're
problem.
saying there's a lot of plumbers who
Yeah, exactly.
pursue their artistic.
exactly.
A lot of plumbers who would start Twitch streaming.
Yeah, exactly. It could be
Yeah,
a problem.
well, you know, that was part of the argument where, you know, well, you could do more artistic things if you have this money.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, well, that's not going to help the GDP. You know, he's.
Well, no, but here's the thing, and that's the fatal flaw of a command economy. For somebody to say that, for somebody to say, well, more people can be artists if we have a UBI. Okay, well, you are arbitrarily deciding that the economy needs more artists. Who says it does? And it usually doesn't, which sounds like a little ironic coming from me. I mean, I make cartoons for a living, but the reality is, there are if everybody who just wanted to pursue any career was able to do so with this cushion, then people would not end up in a position where we need them and where they can best serve others. We have a super chat from Blaga19.
Very cool.
Who said, this is a very nice super chat, Seamus Coughlin is literally my favorite Timcast IRL guest.
Oh, cool.
Please give him some of this.
Oh, snap. Hey.
That's right, I'm winning.
Whoa.
I'm on top,
cool.
top dog.
Wow.
Tim,
No,
this,
Seamus
this
is
person-
amazing.
Wow.
this person
That's
said
pretty
yes.
cool. See, this to me, this blows away Call of Cthulhu in the first 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
It's
You want-
spooky,
yeah.
you got investigation,
Let's do it.
you've got
Okay, I love you guys. I'll miss
hallucination,
I know. It's
you know,
warm. I'm
mental
sorry,
disruption,
sir. I'm
heartbroken.
sorry.
you know, kind of like the veil
switching
and all this.
over. Shall
Here
we
you go.
switch? Should we have Jack come on? What do you think, man?
Who is that? TIMPOOL? Tim
Jack.
is
Thank
live,
you
baby.
So much. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Carrie.
We're carrying TIMPOOL's
Thank
live
you.
stream for election night.
Oh, interesting.
Kind of middle of the road. It's a nice group of folks. They're young, they're smart, they're talented, and that's who needs to run the country. Not these old freaking relics and walking corpses
For the record, I do.
that we have for both parties.
I'm glad that you
Just
guys have,
these
like,
70, 80-year-old people running shit for us, and they need to go.
And,
You're
he's-
allowed to disagree.
You're talking to a relatively mature guy, but hey,
It's all good. I appreciate it.
get some of these old freaking bought and sold 10 times over. Get them the freak out of there.
Welcome
don't
back,
even like-
Tim.
You
and-
never know. You might get somebody young in there
Jack,
that
look at
discovers a
this nonsense.
conscience.
Here he is. Ooh,
There you go.
adjust
There's the
that
bald.
frame.
There's the bald epic beard
Hey,
dude.
look,
Jack's
I'm
just,
I'm
what,
back.
6'2".
Yeah,
Guy
yeah,
looks like
four.
he's got like
Four.
he chews
Holy
tobacco habit. Like he's got this
So I just
terrible
saw someone
chewing
said
tobacco
that 538
waterfall.
is now giving the election is toss-up territory.
Let's see, what do we got here? Astro Live. I've been waiting to get this game for Halloween, but they pulled it off the Epic Game Store. Well, I have to say, Astro, I've been watching some of your stuff. I liked some of your videos today because I was on my phone. I couldn't like chat it up with you. Chitty chat. But I must say some of your stuff is getting really, really cool. I was like fascinated with some of your moon stuff. And there was another video you did. It wasn't moon, but it was something else. It's pretty cool, brother. And you need to pick up this game. You need, you need to pick up this game. But I recommend this. This is very good so far. I am not disappointed. I love the detective shit. It kind of reminds me of Soul Suspect a lot. It's got that vibe, but it's actually well done. And I love the little bits of hallucination. It's very disturbing, you know. And it's got to be disturbing. This is a Lovecraft game, right? And Lovecraft doesn't have happy endings, baby. All right.
Sorry, yeah. I want to zoom out a little bit on Jack. I mean, I'm happy that you're here.
Let me do that.
You want to zoom out a little bit for me? Awesome. All right, we're going to adjust this in real time. Oh, snap. Oh, Jack. Oh, he's looking well. That looks good.
What am I supposed to do? Mind Palace?
That's right. Jack can't see it at all.
Very handsome man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm back, Jack Murphy Live on Twitter and YouTube. Find me anywhere.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Jack Murphy Live.
This thing updates so much I can't figure out where it is. They say their final forecast from the previous night still shows Trump 1 in 10. But I know their latest update is Trump with a 31% chance of winning. I saw there was another update, but it's gone already. This 538 is really annoying to actually try and read.
538, I like their graphics, but they're kind of annoying.
There it is.
Okay, what am I?
Oh, no, this is Ohio.
Pardon my French.
Ohio is toss-up territory, and they're giving Trump a 55 and 100.
I know, it's terrible.
Well, the latest I've seen is that Trump has tripled his chance of winning.
That is really interesting.
Albert attacked the fisherman.
Do you believe this to be the case, sir?
Oh, man. Didn't they recall Virginia already?
They did, yeah. CNN did.
Walking back their early call with so many votes coming in still, I guess there's a whole dump of mail-in ballots to be counted still from Northern Virginia.
No, that can't be true because they called Hickenlooper for Colorado. That means what about the mail-in ballots in Colorado that need to be counted? It's all mail-in ballots in Colorado, right?
I just report the news. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. It would be a big deal if Virginia broke their sort of tectonic slide into perpetual bluedom.
That would be wonderful.
Whenever I've been considering where I'm going to bug out to, Virginia is a great place, but no confidence in its politics.
No.
So
how many electoral votes for Virginia?
18, something like that.
Not sure.
If Trump ends up actually winning Virginia, but this is crazy. The current vote total in Illinois is getting people in Illinois worried. I have people hitting me up in Illinois saying it's like 46.4 for Trump.
Whoa.
Like that's close. Now Illinois is not a lot, reporting in, and I don't believe it. But I'm just like, I don't know. The people I know in Chicago are like, "What is this?"
Yeah, I'm skeptical.
No, for sure.
Look, the election in old times may have come down to: do you want to have higher taxes, lower taxes? Do you want a New Deal? Do you want to have this? Right now, people are defending themselves. They've been insulted for 4 years. They've been demonized, dehumanized. They've been called terrible names. People are so. This is a vote of self-defense. Scott Adams predicted a while back that Trump supporters were going to be hunted down and shot, and we saw it happen in Portland.
He was correct.
We saw those people get killed out there. I've felt people stalking me just because I'm a Trump supporter. It's happened to me. People are voting to save their lives. They're voting to defend themselves against a whole sort of half of the country and all the institutions of government that just want to tell them that they're terrible people. That's a motivating factor to come out and finally just be like, no, we're going to take it back from the cities and we're going to make ourselves heard and we're going to stand up for ourselves.
Low information voters.
Who?
How do you deal with that? I mean, you've got people who have been paying attention who are saying right now, I'm sick and tired of being abused and insulted and berated. Well, I look at some of my friends who are out in California, and they're just like, I'm going to vote for Biden. And I'm like, why? And they're like, because Trump's destroying democracy. And I'm like, how? And they're like, dude, are you serious? And I'm like, I am, dude. Oh, we got polls close in 14 seconds.
By the millisecond.
Oh, here we go.
Dude. The amount of information I have to give to someone to explain to them.
Wow.
So what happens is, You got a bunch of people sitting there, and then along comes Lady Gaga, and she's like, "I'm gonna vote for Joe Biden," and she convinced 10 million people. I'm kidding. Nobody was convinced by that. But you do get a lot of celebrities. You get like Taylor Swift, and she comes out and says, "Vote Biden," and a bunch of low information voters are gonna be like, "Yeah."
Can I get up there?
Indeed, but low information voters. It sounds like an insult, but most people are
Who is this?
It's not an insult.
Some
right?
creepy
They're
shit.
rationally
What the hell
uninformed.
is that?
It makes sense to not be informed. But like, even if you're quote uninformed, you still hear white guys are the devil, men are the devil.
Is something messing with me?
Patriarchy is the devil, and after a while, you just get tired of being called the bad guy, and you're gonna do something about it.
Yeah, but
Who is that? What is
I mean,
that?
is the white working class, are the projections good for Trump in terms of white working class votes?
You know, I don't have the breakdown in front of me, Tim. My monitor.
How do I get up here?
But you know, I don't know.
And I
it's
can
interesting
climb
to
up
see
there
how
or
Latino
what?
turned out for Trump in Florida. We
Bro.
talked about that here after one of the debates when the Telemundo poll afterwards said that Trump decisively won.
It was a Twitter poll.
Twitter poll.
But it is Spanish speakers.
Thank God for Twitter polls. Oh,
Indeed.
okay.
And you know, we talked about there how like Latino culture is based in machismo. It's based on strong male leadership. They're Christians, they're Catholics. they're not
Machismo.
into, modernity, as it were. And so it was always seemed like it's just stupid to me to have Latino voters just lumped in with POCs and immigrants and you know African Americans who've been here since the 16.
Not at all the same.
You know, it's not at all the same. And so
Well, you got something going on here, baby.
Race mongers on Twitter are already saying,
I don't know.
Cubans aren't actual real Latinos, and now Latino voters are the erasure. This is the great erasure of the Latino vote.
They're saying Cubans aren't Latinos now.
No, they're not.
A lot of these woke people are like,
That's
they're not
amazing
Latinos.
to me. That's shocking to me. That disgusts me because those are the people who survived socialism. Those are the people who survived, who came across.
Oh, there's like collectibles and shit.
It looks
here.
like
What's
Trump is
this?
winning Ohio.
Joe Biden. Remember that Joe Biden said that the Latino community is a very diverse community with very
right about
diverse
that.
thoughts
He was right about
and
that.
yeah. I mean, but you know the African American community.
Unlike the
they're-
other community,
they're a
of people.
monolith,
Right?
Yeah, give me a
You
break.
ain't black. You ain't black.
which is just they were saying, oh, they didn't mean
Wow.
cultural.
Okay.
He meant political. It's like it's still bad.
Okay.
It's still not a good thing to say. I mean, everybody. You can't lump everybody into one community.
Oh, they got shot, baby. They got shot up. 3
I
shots.
do not understand. Look how anybody can hear all these things about Joe Biden and say, well, Trump's the racist. Yeah, I don't understand how people come to that conclusion.
Up is down.
TV, low information voters. So look, when I say low information voters, I'm not saying stupid voters. I'm saying
Right.
They just don't have
most
all the
people,
facts.
it's not their job to read the news all day, every day. So I was actually insulting my friend. He's like, I got no idea what I'm doing. But there are a lot of people who are like, wow, it sounds like what they're saying on the news is really bad. I better go vote. And then so I'll put it this way. I believe it is a lot easier to get a low information voter motivated to vote how you want
Well, let's
than
get
it
the
is
gun
to
out.
convince them with all of your knowledge and information to vote correctly
Well, there's another
Oi.
term
I
for
shouldn't say
low
correctly,
information voter.
in their interests.
Well,
There's
there's the
another
gun.
term for low information voter, and that's sheep.
We got our gun out.
And that's the problem when you watch CNN and you go, wow, they're saying all these things and
Right.
I'm not
Orange
gonna,
man bad.
I'm not going to look it up. I'm not going to. I mean, I'm just
Right.
going to take their word for it because it's CNN.
Well, when you don't actually watch Trump's speeches and you only listen to what CNN is saying about him, because I notice that when people pay attention to what Trump
Or a
is actually
melee
saying,
attack,
they don't
okay.
listen to his speeches, they're like, wow,
Well,
I
that's
got-
not
the-
right.
the- well,
Uh-oh. Somebody's on.
That's an interesting point.
Right.
That, because there was
They're a monster?
when Trump had that rally in Tulsa a few months ago, back in June, I guess near him,
Whoa.
CNN didn't show the speech. What they showed was a wide shot of the speech, and they were commenting on what he was saying. So when Trump said something like, I tell them, the more cases, the more testing we have, the more cases we have. So slow the testing down, please. And that was a joke.
Right.
It's a stupid joke. It's something he shouldn't have said. But then CNN goes,
Whoa.
he said it. He
Oh,
said
yeah.
to slow the testing down. Can you believe it? It's like he said.
Yeah, I think I'm going to
Wow,
enjoy
it's
this
like,
game.
If you watched him say it compared to, what CNN is saying and how they're spinning it, and That's the thing. They don't show what he says. They just say what he wants to say.
The disinfecting thing I thought was interesting because it's almost like a bell curve of a stupid question where on the really high end you probably roll your eyes and say Trump no, but then on like at a certain point you're like it's good that you're asking these questions because we ask weird questions sometimes to try and come up with solutions. And then it was really funny that a bunch of Trump supporters started showing UV light disinfectants that you actually do put down your lungs. They exist. And that
It's a
there
creepy
are,
atmosphere,
there
man.
are,
I gotta tell you.
chemical treatments that you could inject, but what Trump was talking about and the way he asked it was just like they were like, you can use surface cleaners to disinfect things, and Trump's like, I wonder if you can, disinfect by injecting or inhaling, and it's like,
it's like that's called medicine.
Right.
Yeah,
Interestingly, though, all these Trump supporters immediately
Wow.
found
Well,
this like new technology.
we know where
that
the
they
sun
use
is.
light gun, they lower it down the throat into the lungs because it actually does
See what
disinfect and
happens
kill
here.
like
Where
bacteria
does
and
this
stuff.
put us?
Cool.
It's like Trump accidentally was kind of onto something.
And before I go, I want to say that, at the debate, when Joe Biden keeps saying this, he's like, well, Trump he said it. You heard him say it. He said that he told people to inject bleach to kill the virus. It's like, he didn't say that, right? So at the debates, Biden goes, he said it. He said it over there. He said to inject it. And he's like, it was a joke. It's like, no, it wasn't a joke. You didn't say it.
Right.
You
Wow.
didn't
Who
say
else
it.
just
Like,
popped in? Let's see. Astro Live. What do you got?
So hard.
Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth was a pretty good original. I love that game, bro.
No, I wanted
And it does not have a happy ending. It's very Lovecraftian. The chase scene in the hotel,
had Trump going.
despite the dated graphics, is one of the most frightening sequences in my gaming life. I couldn't believe that. I'm like looking at the doors and I'm like, oh, there's locks and I got to unlock, and then they're breaking it through, and it was just a panic. And it's still, even when I replayed it back a few times, it was like, it still like gives you a little anxiety. But the first time was just crazy. That Game Collector. What? The rich white guy's gonna win. Is that a prediction? Is that a political prediction? Dad Game Collector, are you now a political pundit? I knew it.
Vice president for 8 years.
Hot cocoa.
And now.
To your health, everybody on my live stream.
Now he's gonna.
right?
Now finally he's gonna bring everybody.
Wait.
I know, right?
I'm imagining. It's like Joe Biden looks at his watch. He looks up at a calendar and he marks a day and it says 47 years, and then he goes, "Today's finally the day." And then he circles the day and it's like, do things for people. And that was it. Now he's like, I'm gonna
do stuff for people.
I saw you look at your digital watch, and that reminds me when Biden looked at his digital watch. I was thinking, what are your notes on his little Apple Watch? Like,
I wonder,
with
right?
Well, do we go talk to the dad, or do we go bust some heads?
Sending him like little texts, like.
I think we go talk to the
his name's not
dad.
George, it's Trump. just a heads up. Just remember.
Oh no! Look at this backwood marsh,
At least it was just Biden being like, man, it's tired.
fish canning factory,
We have to do
and he's kissing a fish.
Oh yeah, we're doing it. Here's our new lady, Celine.
Oh,
Ryan.
bro!
Very
See
excited.
that kind of thing is just whack.
Who's this person?
Who is this person? Oh no. Okay, hold on. Jack was saying something. Let's continue.
See if
I was
there's
just
anything
talking
over
about
here.
how
What's
Joe
going
Biden
on over
showing
here?
his watch at the debate is more of a sign of his having no stamina.
Under the keel bar. Oh man, we found the bar.
Like literally, dude. Like what time
Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
Because when I'm here on the show with you, I never check my watch, man.
For sure, it's
By the time we're like,
interesting.
hey, we've gone over, I'm like, whoa, we just started.
we
And I
just
thought,
started, yeah.
time flies when you're having fun. When you're
Under the
prepared.
keel bar.
We always end up going over with you too.
We do.
We
always
do.
have a
We
time.
always do.
Yeah, I'm
We
like,
do.
we can't just stop.
can't.
Celine,
Can't just
who are you?
Hello.
I am Celine
You
Ryan.
want to pull that up a little bit?
Yeah. How about you make out with that
Yeah.
microphone a little bit for me?
What you make out with that microphone?
You're a reporter, aren't you?
I am a reporter. I am an editor with Campus Reform. And
Oh,
I do
cool.
So,
I
yeah.
didn't know any of this about
I
you.
did not. Oh, yeah. I'm an editor with Campus Reform, so we have like student journalists all across the country kind of reporting on leftist bias on campus, which is obviously a huge issue. But then I also do stuff for, on the side, events and post millennial.
Wow, this is
So,
definitely look
if
at
Joe
it. It's
Biden wins, it'd be popular.
so much better than the Call of Cthulhu.
I know that's
so
a
much
joke,
better.
but
I was
know
so
they're gonna clip it and
disappointed
be
with
like,
that
"Ah,
game.
we got him. We got him.
We got him.
I mean, more or less. I mean, personally, I feel like it's been the apocalypse just for the past 4
4 years because my view is so focused on the campus, what's going on in campus, and just the reaction to Trump being the president for the last few years. If you were there and you were seeing what these kids on college campuses are seeing, you would think it was the apocalypse.
The way they're acting.
The way
It's
they're
like
reacting,
have you guys ever seen This Is the End?
I have, yeah.
With it's like basically every comedian, every actor, and then the world ends in like James Franco's house.
Yeah.
And they're all
yeah.
freaking out, and like the whole. That's what college campuses are like emotionally for these people. I don't know if you guys saw that video from today where the guy's like, I guess he's in the rain, and he's like, "This is not normal."
Oh, bro.
And I'm like, "Jeez, dude."
All right, dude, calm down.
No, his point was that it was normal. He was like, if you're acting like me,
right,
this is
right.
normal, I'm being normal.
No, you're not.
No, you're
Thanks for
not.
stopping by.
You're really not,
Yeah.
dude. I'm
Dude.
sorry.
So, well,
DGC.
Yeah.
it looks like, according to the New York Times, Donald
Okay.
Trump is leading in Ohio. But here's what I love.
Snap.
They're like, with 70% of estimated votes reported, Trump is at 50.8%. But, just so you know,
But
ballots cast before Election Day were reported by 8 p.m. and are likely to be relatively stronger for Democrats.
Interesting.
Postmarked ballots have until November 13th to arrive, but no additional results will be reported for at least a week and a half.
That is what I saw in Colorado. I saw this friend, this person that I know, voted in Colorado, and they're like, "Well, you have until the 12th to figure out your signature situation." I'm like, "That's a long time. We're not voting on the 12th. We're voting on the 3rd."
So we're going to be sitting here for a week.
Right.
I wanted to flip the desk over and start destroying things. We've got you can't see, but we've got axes set up, and we're like, as soon as Biden wins, I'm kidding.
No. Where you got none
TikTok
of that.
videos for days.
I know, right? Seriously.
wow.
Trump's winning in Pennsylvania right now with 24%.
Oh.
Guys, my prediction. I've made only one prediction. I think that Trump will win Pennsylvania. Call me crazy. I don't really care what you call me. I do think he's going to win Pennsylvania. Blaine, am I crazy?
I don't think you're crazy, but
Okay.
Pennsylvania has
Booze,
been the
smokes,
one
and
that
bullets.
I've been, like, very just kind of apprehensive
One bullet.
about, just because I think that a lot hinges on Pennsylvania, and I go back and forth. But I don't think you're so crazy. I think it could happen.
Okay, cool. Jack, do you think I'm crazy?
I don't think you're crazy.
Okay.
In fact, Pennsylvania has been the keystone of this entire thing, and it was in 2016 as well, which is why I went up to both central, sort of south central Pennsylvania, as well as up into the Lehigh Valley to interview people, Democrats and deplorable voters.
Yeah.
And we just camped out in like stores and restaurants, bars.
A
and
metal cage. Wow.
Former Democrats, immigrants,
Circled by the dead.
in the Lehigh Valley, and like that is a place that had a shift away.
Time
a shift
itself
from blue to red.
laughs.
And the rest of the central and western part of Pennsylvania very strongly red. In central Pennsylvania, last time in 2016 was Romney counties were like doubled in their support when they went for Trump. So.
Oh, I got an
it's always been a
achievement.
complicated case, and it's certainly the keystone here, and we're all
Well, that's
see what
nice.
happens.
It's always nice to get a little achievey cheeves.
So you know how like
Oh, he like you bumped into the dude. He's like, "Hey,
I was just talking to someone downstairs. I think it was Brett. I'm not sure, but they were saying that if we did that system for every state, Romney would have won in 2012. I don't know if that's true, but
Really?
yeah, because a lot of states are winner take all. If they actually split off, then you'd have only these urban centers.
I was not involved in politics or paying too much attention to the presidential campaign in 2012. The only thing I remember from 2012 is binders full of women.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I remember as
Same
a
here.
Come over, and he won't be back to collect
low
what you owe. Get me?
information, Deliberately ignorant voter at the time. I don't think I voted in 2012. I did in 2008 for Obama, of course. But that's the only thing I remember because it was like memed into my brain.
Right, exactly.
Like, so that's a good example of like how even if you're like deliberately not paying attention to politics, the good memes, they make it all the way to people who have totally got everything tuned out. And so binders full of women, to me at first I was like, oh, that sounds terrible. But then I realized what it meant, what the context was, and the fact
He's
that
like trying to hire a bunch of women.
trying to hire a bunch of
Yeah,
women. He's
I thought
like,
it was great.
I got stacks of. If he just would have said I have stacks of resumes over
That
there,
would have been fantastic.
It would have gone over
Binders full
completely.
of women. That's a little bit
Binders.
different.
It is.
Oh, look at this guy's
And the truth
pallor,
is,
man.
Tim, as you know,
Look at his
you're
eyes, too.
You're gonna make some mistakes. You say things like cop.
Well, that was
shop,
nice.
but then you just
True,
keep
too.
rolling.
I
So-
love it.
So it's a little disingenuous of people to be trying to hold people to gaffes and this and misspeaking. You say 50 million words a day, you're gonna stumble over a number of them. It's when they're consistent. It's when you say things like 200 million people have died, or you say
No. He said, "Will die by the time I finish this talk." and then we have the art. It's one of my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it's like amazing to me that guy, again, not because of his politics, just because of his age and his dementia, man. Oh my God, it's Philberto 78! Woo! This just became a live stream. What do you got to say, Philberto? Florida went for Trump. Oh yeah, I mean, Florida really likes Trump, regardless of politics. And you know how that comes down to it a lot. It's like when you get into that voting booth, you know, people say this and that, but hey, where's her burger? Her. I'm playing the Sinking City, and I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with the whole game. It's very good. All right, we got to go deal with a murderer.
Seriously.
Well, that's what Kristen Welker said.
What
right?
is this
Trump was like,
situation?
the
There's
oil
all
industry?
these like
Oil industry,
racy
and then Biden
pictures
goes, we're going to transition from
around. There's like
transition away
all
from
these
oil, yes.
racy pictures.
And
Look at
then she
that.
goes, why would you do that?
Look at that racy
say-
picture. Look at the
No,
fidelity
why
of that
would
racy
you
picture.
like, I think a
Murder.
legitimate journalistic question would respond to
A
it.
brick,
Why
a
would
med
you
kit,
want to
or a
transition
gun.
from oil? Instead,
A
she goes,
gun.
why did you do that? Or like, why would you do that?
Oh,
And it sounded
bro.
like she
Oh,
was
here's
actually
more
saying,
of the
why would you
racy.
say yes?
We have to
Why would-
inspect all the racy
The
photos.
transition part could have just been totally.
I mean, look, did Biden?
Ooh,
run a
it's
better
like
campaign than
French postcards, you know. Woo! Oh,
No, he's a
a
corporeal
little
form.
peekaboo nighty situation going
Yeah,
there.
the Atlantic said, just stay alive.
Stay alive,
Right.
Joe Biden.
Right, so that's not motivating people.
I-
And
you
that's
know,
that one's not bad.
I'm
That's like
kinda curious what
1920s
happens
era.
when we have a weekend at Bernie's president, you know?
Yeah,
Joe
literally
Biden
weekend
is
at
gonna be in
Bernie's,
the Oval
baby.
Office, just like, and he's gonna be in a wheelchair with a blanket on his
Okay.
lap, and we're gonna be like, we have no president.
I mean, there was some question about Reagan's ability to conduct the affairs of the office. Near the
Yeah, in his
No, he
second
was out of
term,
it.
it got real
Didn't you, like,
weird.
think that movie War Games or whatever, that kid playing the computer was a real thing?
Dude.
Something like that
But we
happened.
do know the only winning move is not to play. That's my jab.
I guess it would be funny if Joe Biden.
See, this is what I'm
wasn't
talking about, like
president,
fidelity of
like,
graphics. Like, look at the record.
Anything, but we know Kamala Harris.
Look at that
So,
record.
like,
I mean,
her hand will be
that's a
against
little
the
rough,
president.
baby.
And that's what.
So
she's
no big back
It's like
slapping
the
on your
Joker.
textures in this game.
I'm speaking. I'm speaking, Joe.
Oh my
Sure,
fucking god.
Madagascar. Madagascar?
Oh my god.
Because it's like, it's one thing.
This
when
guy
Trump
is enough to
it's
make
another
me
thing when he mutters
fucking
and jams all these words together, and it's
lose my lunch.
The words that he's been like practicing that are just ingrained in his head, and they're all just like.
They all pushed together. You know what I think it is, though? I think you made a good point when you said he's
Poetic justice, baby.
I think he's
You got nothing to hide. How about your face?
I think he's like, I gotta say these things and then I'm done. So he's going like this to the teleprompter, like, I'm gonna get it going.
Why do you look like that? Again, he knows what he looks like.
You know, the thing.
Skip to the bottom. Skip to the bottom.
Speaking of the thing, someone brought a cake and it says, "Congratulations on the thing." Come on, man. Fatty. Now eat some cake. Someone brought a cake that says that.
Focus.
Yeah, so I was just downstairs, just kind of chilling. Everybody's watching.
I played a couple games of skee ball in Tim's arcade.
Well, we just have we just have skee ball. That's about it.
The slot machine.
Yeah, but
Good. Look at his hand.
Slot
That- like, we
machine
got it
plus
in.
skee ball counts as
we got it at an antique store. So we're gonna sit here until.
Will you
they're not
read
gonna
I can't remember a thing from looking at your face.
read us the states.
Yeah, tell us what we're up to right now. Tell us how Trump's doing. I'm kind of.
Well, the New York Times has different numbers than Fox and CNN. Everybody's got different numbers, right?
Trump's
So right
still
now,
lagging.
the New York Times has Donald Trump with the popular vote at 2.5 points, but Joe Biden has the electoral lead at 131 to Trump's 98. And I mean, Trump is up in Pennsylvania by by 5.3 points. That's huge. Trump is up in Ohio now by what looks like, what is that? 3.8, I believe. North Carolina has a Trump lead by only 0.6.
Dude, compared to that guy, I'm the best looking man on the planet.
Predictometers. Georgia.
That guy
predicting all these for Trump. This is crazy.
That is tragic,
I don't know,
man.
this is
Arizona's up in the air right now, bruh.
with 73%.
Dude, there is so much shenanigans going on with this election. There is so much shenanigans from both sides. Again, I'm mad with both of them.
Yeah.
Did I say
I'm mad with both of them. It is so freaking shady, bro. There's so much shady shit going on. Who can tell what's legit and what isn't? It's like which mafia has more power? You know?
And Wisconsin is +4. Minnesota is Biden +26 so far. So everyone's like,
Not
I was saying like, man, I don't know, the Iron Range mayors, they endorse Trump. That's huge.
True, yeah.
But it is only 32% reporting, so who knows? Arizona's starting to look like it's going to go Democrat. But we got Florida, North Carolina, and Georgia, according to the New York Times. Florida's
The guy's
Trump.
skinned.
New York Times
It's
has
like
94% reporting. Trump's up 3. North Carolina, Trump's 0.6 up with a 95% chance of winning. And in Georgia, Trump is up 13.
Oh my God, bro! Unnecessary close-up.
So,
dude, it's time for you to go back to the fucking ocean.
Gigantic move for Trump in Florida.
okay, so Nevada's polls are not closed yet.
Okay. So whose polls are closing next?
I don't know.
And those Throgmortons in their high castle only made our life harder.
We're just going to keep staring at the New York Times because for some reason that's the one we choose over all the other networks, I guess.
I wonder why people are against
What's going on
you.
in Washington D.C. right now? I got out of town.
Good
thinking
God.
I'd come out here and hang out with you guys, and as I'm leaving,
Again, why ask him what he looks like?
huge barrier erected
Why
around
do
the
that?
border.
That's
Biggest-
just
the biggest barrier
absolutely
that's been erected, biggest point.
selfish and
There was
redundant.
multi-days.
If that man doesn't know he looks like a fucking sea bass.
Months, basically, people were starting to gather at Black Lives Matter Plaza, also known as 16th and Main Street Northwest. I saw some video clips of a guy getting punched in the face, a couple of other scuffles, already some arrests. And the night is just getting started down there. Usually things start to pop off crazy after 11, after 12, when all the sort of civilians leave, and it's just the people who are down there looking to cause trouble, looking to cause damage, riot, whatever. And, if they got days of this plan, everybody in the city's got their stuff boarded up, people are getting out of town. I don't want to drive back.
We actually had some party attendees at the week because they had to go down to cover the rest.
I was mad.
Why again? Why do you look like that? What's he gonna tell you? Oh, we all can't be beauties like you.
If you need to escape, yeah, we're decently far away, but they left super early to try and make it on time because we're still pretty much on the East Coast out there.
Yeah, I mean, and
Am I gonna feel bad for this fish man?
On the street, but tonight, like all of the
A family of what?
Riot chasers are from all across the country are in DC right now. Elijah's down there. That Brandon guy is there. Roz is there. There's a lot. He won't. There's a lot of people on the ground. And you know what? Let them get punched in the mouth. No offense. Like,
we have a deal.
Somebody told me the other day, it's like you got to start moving on the board. Like not like a pawn, right? Like I'm out there, I'm gonna get run over by a car. I'm gonna get.
All right, got full ball.
Impact.
All right, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna go to Mind Palace again.
Somebody
actually complained about the Mind Palace. Why?
Media and politics is that when you're relatively unknown, you can put on a mask, you can go down there, you can cover Antifa, but as soon as they figure out who you are, it's time to start covering it from a distance.
Yeah.
And so that's like a cycle everybody goes through. Although some people I know who are decently high profile, like, I want to go down, and I'm like, they will stomp your face in, like no joke.
Right.
Yep.
I think that my time of being down there undercover has probably come to an end.
I think you might be right. It's the beard, man. I'm sorry.
I usually wear like a black gaiter all the way up to here. Can't see the beard. Oh, I just gave away my outfit. Honey, we have to get some.
Oh no.
We're gonna have to get a polka dot gaiter now.
Gotta get something new.
I got a tweet from Sam Harris I really like.
Cool. And then
to you?
Yeah. No. He just tweeted.
Okay.
He tweeted this.
Cool,
he said, whatever happens, can we agree that defund the police was among the most idiotic phrases ever uttered in the hopes of achieving a political goal?
Sure can. Yes, I think so.
What do you think of Sam Harris's moment? Did you see that?
What is he eating there?
Talking about Osama and Hitler.
No, there was that where he
blood sausage, bro.
Moral conviction than
all right, so he's hiding up there.
But then he said he had an epiphany, and he released a new short 8-minute podcast.
All right, so we're going to turn this first quest into Throggy
first time
and see what happens.
Trump. And he laid it out actually
all
very
right, what do you have to say here, sir? Some ugly folks in this game.
Other people, he would have been figured it out by now.
Dude, guy was ugly.
Is that he now
Good God.
How Donald Trump through his total.
I mean, just asking me to stand here and talk to you, and thank God I can't smell him. Ugh.
squared up against the left and just be like, you can't phase me.
This guy have anything to say left?
You can't shame me. You can't make me feel
No,
bad.
suck me off.
What
I'm
Sam
sorry.
says
Pardon
is
me.
that opens up a space for human frailty, which is a very excellent point. Which is people have mistakes. People have faults. We're not all perfect, and it
That's
gives
right.
a place for people to just sort of be comfortable with their own human faults. And I think that is a very powerful observation, and it's certainly true. On top of that, we also launched Donald Trump into Washington, D.C. as a nuclear missile to try to blow the whole thing up.
He has found the source of my maddening vision.
That seems to be pretty plain.
Let's go talk to this Joker.
That there's an energy.
All right, buddy.
You need to give people a space to feel like they're human, and you need to defend them. And Trump does it by being totally impervious to their whole list and their whole arsenal of insults, racist, sexist, whatever. They just hit him and they just bounce right off, and that's what the people of America want for themselves as well.
Well done steak with ketchup.
Yep.
Every time.
It
That's the
resonated.
perfect example.
It did.
Donald Trump had a well done steak with ketchup, and the media mocked and
I've
berated
seen
him
some
and
strange
insulted him
creatures
and
around.
laughed. And that to a lot of people, because like I tell the story a lot, but I really do want to drive this point home every time. I grew up eating well done steak with ketchup, and so I wonder how many poor people from my neighborhood were like, "Yo, you're making fun of me, dude,"
Right.
and we already hate the media.
Right.
It's like the ivory tower elites, man. There's a tweet put out by Jay Rosen, who's this NYU professor, and he is like, you know who he is?
I mean, he's like a deranged guy, right?
I mean, but like, it's like if someone had Trump, you've seen those videos of women in their cars and they're like, Trump. Take that, put a top hat on it and a monocle, and that's kind of what you see from these ivory tower people.
It's true.
I am tired and shaken.
What was that tweet you
And-
tweeted out earlier?
What?
About being, this guy was like, oh.
Barely off the boat, baby. That's me.
The ivory tower is
Barely off the boat.
Ryan Stelter of CNN said, journalists are like messaging each other. Make sure you drink water. Stay safe. What?
What are you
Dude, it's a
talking
presidential
about?
election. You're
What is
in your
wrong with
house. You're on like the 7th floor of some like Manhattan condo, typing in your laptop, sipping your white wine with CNN on it, and you feel unsafe.
Well, the only people that they have to blame is Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and the rest
As
of the
above,
Democratic establishment. That
so
launched
below.
this. Trump is Hitler. Trump is a foreign agent, and they
Okay,
believe
as
they're
above,
not
so below, which
Obama
is
and
the
Clinton. And so that's from
Kabbalistic motto.
Self-inflicted wounds by the Democrats when they tried to gaslight the whole entire country and end up just gaslighting their own people, turning them into deranged monsters with no critical
Terrified of
thinking
COVID.
skills, terrified of everything, terrified of a vote, terrified of a president, and now they're like can't even manage day-to-day life and day-to-day stress. I mean, look, I tweeted out earlier today myself: hug your family, go for a walk, get ready for a long night. Who knows how long it's going to take? That's pretty much the same message, but it's just not pathetic. It's like it's
A
just like
sleeping
do
giant
normal, be a
drowns
normal
streets.
person, not like
crazy stuff.
this is like nuclear war. You need to be prepared. We're all going to
Dude,
die.
you know what's really funny, man? Like, I've been in countries where I've been shot at. I've interviewed former Soviet generals, Brazilian gang leaders. I was detained by Brazilian police plainclothes and brought into an undisclosed location at their police complex. They came up to us and were like, "You're coming with us." They took our phones from us. They brought us to this building where it was police taped off, and they brought us in a room with just a couch and no windows. And I was like, "Oh, dude, they're gonna beat the crap out of us," because we were covering the riots and stuff. And then they just we sat down, and then after half an hour or so, they came back and apologized because they realized that we were covering a police union protest.
Wow.
Which is what's your message? Why are you here? They thought we were Antifa journalists, so they brought us to this. Anyway, I digress. I got so many stories like that. My reaction when I got brought by these Brazilian cops, I'm a foreigner, I'm in this country, was I'm nudging my friend, dude, they're gonna beat us up. This is crazy. What am I supposed to do about it? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to cry? Please don't hit me. I was like, this is where it happens. They put you in the dark room with no windows, and there's the couch.
Nice.
They're gonna put us on it and punch us in the face. I was in a bunch of places, and I'll tell you, man, not once have I ever felt
One knowledge point, the lost exposition, the key to heaven. Oh, wait.
who are filming
What else did I get? I didn't see all that.
where they're screaming, "If you're feeling
All right, you got
this
some money,
way,"
you got a
I'm
new
like,
case,
dude, wanna
and you
know
gotta
how-
find
wanna know
your
what makes me
way
the most
to the
emotional?
hotel,
There's one thing in
baby.
this world that makes me very, very emotional. Sometimes my
Oh,
videos.
so you got a different
Can't really do
gun?
this. But I can watch, like, Joe Biden could win tonight, and I'm gonna be like, oh, how about that? You know, oh, Joe Biden won. But there's one thing, and it is video games. When I'm playing, like I'm playing
Video
Spelunky
games.
2,
I've seen it.
and
Oh,
I'm like, that
Spelunky.
snake! He took my heart.
TIMPOOL is an angry
games that I
gamer.
play, and I just get so
Who'da thunk?
bad at video games. That's it. But I'll never pull out my phone and go.
All right. Well, we had all the heavy hitters.
Okay, that's because
Astro Live Channel, Ty Lord,
I think that's the issue.
That Game Collector, Philberto, and even Maniac Cop. Do you remember Maniac Cop?
They've all been taught.
I remember Maniac Cop.
Taught them that their
I think he
emotions
got
are
himself
not
into a little bit of
important
trouble
for
with his
listening.
channel.
They've taught them that your reaction to
But
a statement
I'm
is
glad to
the
hear from him
responsibility of
again.
The speaker. They've been taught that your lived experience trumps facts and research.
Lived experience.
Your from based in standpoint theory.
What's wrong with just saying experience? Who was it who said that? Who was that?
Lived experience.
Yeah, who
I'm
brought
not sure
that
where
up? Was
came
that Chris
from.
Rufo? It was Chris Rufo.
Yeah.
He was like, notice how they
Alright.
keep adding words to things, just make
They
it sound
do.
longer and more verbose. My
hate it.
lived experience instead of just my experience, which is literally what it is.
I hate it so much.
Yeah, they're children, man.
Celine, this brings me to you because I'm kind of curious if you've seen this on campus.
The sea will be generous in the
Talking about
coming
children
days,
and
many gifts
infants
delivered.
being
Well, I just got a
grown
bunch of
here at
gifts.
campus reform.
And many will regret partaking. Oh.
Yeah, well, I mean.
Well, there's already some regret
yes,
from
definitely.
somebody being dead, losing a
But,
son.
as far as just
I
the
see old and
election
new, a hard
goes,
heart
trying
against
to
an
figure out
iron
what,
will.
what's actually going to be happening on campus with
Whoever wins, you win too, but you'll only see that from inside a metal cage. Now that's very specific.
all kinds
And tall pillars circled by the dead, a race from one
People aren't there.
to the next as time itself laughs. And if you remember that old saw from Lovecraft, which was that cannot die, which can eternal lie, and through strange eons even death may die, in terms of the old gods.
Your phone or your Twitter or make election-free news times. So, yeah, it's
That's
Here we are. So
like we were talking about.
we have to find our freaking way out of here.
Modeling that turns
Oh, I meant to look at the
They
map.
adults, they enter
Let's see.
the workforce,
Casebook.
they turn into, like, real people
You know-
who have this
they
expectation.
Key to
they make these
headquarters.
rules for us.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that, like, paradoxically, these communists are a product of capitalism. These universities have adopted the customer is always right. They just want the money. We don't
That's
care
the
about your
boat.
future. We care that you take out a big loan and give us the money. So that's what's happening.
Well, it's funny you say that. One
So
of
there's
the-
Ferry
one of the
Road, but
stories
it was
kind of
closed.
Oh, this thing that's kind of been a theme for a while.
Oakmont City
like,
Port, under the keel.
you know, having a standard English.
And let's see if we can
is racist
sneak
because
around.
people in inner cities don't,
I wish they had a mini map or an overlay.
way of growing up
Oh my
speaking.
gosh.
Yeah,
This is
that's-
one of the games that
that's
really
been
needs a
around
mini
for
map.
a while in academia, but what's interesting is now that all the classes are online, we're able to see, like, we can just record and, like, see all these classes, like, from anywhere in the country.
Right.
And so they were literally saying, like, well, our class is not, it's not a job interview, and it's not, they're not writing, papers for academic
All right.
review in this class, so why
It
should
looks
we
like there may be like a
even
tiny
care about
little
their classes?
alleyway
Like,
that you can get through.
that's what you're supposed to be preparing them
Where
for.
are we
Oh,
supposed to
bro,
be
go
learning
away.
That's the
this?
whole point, is it not, of why they're there? So
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. I just decided to pull up
Tim's got
Predict It,
Oh boy.
and I can't get it to load.
Oh boy.
I can't get it to load.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
But the last thing it showed me was that Predict It now has Donald Trump 80%
Dang, I bought at 46.
for Trump.
Yep.
Oh my
You
gosh.
should sell.
What?
Wild.
I'm holding it all the way up
But
to
you just
100.
all right.
Okay.
So I can't get the
Ah,
site to
see,
load.
here's the little
Oh,
alleyway.
I saw a tweet earlier from Jeff Geesey who said that Predicted was down.
Yeah, it's coming in up.
It is,
And so for those unfamiliar, Predict It is a betting market for like
Predicted's cool.
anything.
Very
And
cool.
so earlier in the day and yesterday, for a while, they said Joe Biden 60 cents for a share. Wow, it's down. 60. So the way it works is you buy shares. Let's say it's 50 cents for Joe Biden. Then if Joe Biden wins, that 50 cents becomes worth $1 and you cash it out. So earlier and yesterday,
Oh,
Joe Biden was
okay.
at 60 cents to Trump's 40. And the last thing that just came up before it crashed said Trump 79 cents per share, which means not that there's data suggesting Trump's going to win from Predict It, but that the wisdom of the crowd There it is. There it is. Pull it up quick.
Oh, wow, okay.
snap.
Biden just dropped even more.
Oh my gosh.
Trump is now at 78 cents per share to Biden's 25 cents. Meaning, if you really think Joe Biden is going to win, buy now.
Oh my.
So the markets have been predicting this all day. As a matter of fact, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up, but in there,
Whoa, hold on.
what?
No, keep
Something else?
talking.
Okay, the Dow
Continue.
Jones Industrial Average was up, but stocks that would perform better, absent COVID restrictions, like movie theaters, travel, resorts, cruise lines, things like that, they were up better than everybody else in the market. So they were outperforming. So the market this morning was telling us that stocks that are going to perform better, absent COVID restrictions, i.e. a vote for Trump, were outperforming, and so the big money was moving into those stocks today.
Lost at
There's
sea.
going to be relaxation of the corona lockdown. So I think that the markets have known this for a little bit, and it's like, are we going to have to go through the same bull next time, where the polls are like this, like this, like this, like this, and then on the last day they just flip?
Okay,
we're
we're loading.
Next time. I mean, is the entire polling industry, if Trump wins here, they all have to quit, right? They
Well, I
all
made
have to
myself a
quit.
hot
Nancy
cocoa and it
Pelosi
was
has
quite
to quit.
good.
They
I will
all have to
insist.
quit.
Yes.
They have to.
Frank Luntz said if they're wrong about this, they're all
10:30. Wow.
Yeah, it's done.
So check out this electoral college map. This is interesting. 65 cents per share for Trump. This for Wisconsin. So
Press
betting
any
odds
button.
Unpredicted. People believe Trump's going to win Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania, and Ohio is 97 cents for Trump, up 25 cents.
Wow.
These are betting
Where the
odds,
hell are
not
we,
data.
bro?
But
They really
there's
believe
something really
Where
important.
the hell are we?
Did you see USC Dornsiff's analysis? Did you see this? They said they're doing new experimental questions. They're instead of asking someone who will you vote for, they're saying who are your friends voting for. And in the last 5 elections, it's predicted the winner more accurately than asking an individual who they would vote
That's
for.
That makes sense, though.
They said
That really
tapping into the
does.
wisdom of the crowds to determine whether or not someone's going to win, and they've predicted that Donald Trump will win.
The only poll that I saw that was really worthwhile to me was, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? And Trump won that one resoundingly. So you know what? If you're better off now than you were 4 years ago, you're feeling good about your life, you're going to vote for Trump again.
I think you're right.
It's not that difficult.
I think you're right. It's pretty straightforward.
Oh man, we're all subjected. Even somebody like me, who I'm like battle worn and tested. I'm hardened. I still the counter narratives, the mainstream. It still just seeps
Dream
into
within a
brain.
dream.
Doubt. It does, but I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel it.
Feel the doubt?
Nope. I'm starting to feel the doubt lift. I'm starting
Oh, bro, laudanum.
They recalled Virginia. That was funny, but predicted has 73% for Biden.
Yeah, which is opium, which
so
is
73 cents per share for
addictive.
Biden. Interestingly, they have Nevada
Newcomer,
for Trump, Arizona
wind
for Biden.
coat.
And I think a lot of this.
Oh, look, you got new outfits, man. Oh, and you can see them all.
We've already seen.
Vishy Ivanka.
Yeah, I think.
this looks like a win.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like a W.
It looks like
Cultist,
it looks like what's going to
baby.
end up happening is that
Oh
Trump
my
ends up
God,
winning,
bro.
But there's going to have to be some lawsuits, and then they're going to claim
Wow.
Trump stacked he packed the court by filling seats, and used.
Oh, Plague Doctor, nice.
Well, at this point right now, you would.
Fish.
say
Oh, this is the Gordon's Fisherman.
litigation's still gonna go on the
Oh,
Supreme
of
Court.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, if they're recalling Virginia,
King's
because Arizona
robes.
was Logan County, is, Trump's leading there.
Wait, when you say recall,
I actually like winter. I like this getup.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
CNN,
Okay. Right.
CNN was like, we call it.
I like
guess it
newcomer.
was
That's
CNN,
fine.
they
Oh, that's
uncalled
okay.
I think I meant an AP.
CNN walked it back, and I think at least a few other.
Oh, we got a racy picture.
So, if
Lots
the-
of
the-
racy
so I
little
saw,
pictures in this game.
I think it was Sean Davis tweeted out that it's like Loudoun or Loudon County.
Oh, it's Loudoun County. Yeah.
Loudoun County.
Yep, yep.
That this went for Clinton by a few points, and Trump is leading by like 13.
Yeah.
Interesting.
However, some people have said yes because mail-in ballots. All these Democrats are terrified of COVID.
Yes.
Mail-in ballots are gonna
Oh.
So what'll end up happening?
So you
is
saved Flynn,
Red
and
Maroon.
Flynn is warning
Trump's gonna
you
end up
to
winning.
get the hell out.
And then over the next couple of weeks, it's going to be a lawfare. It's going to be nuts. If I'll tell you this.
So you got a friendly
the amount of
letter.
money spent on this election cycle it's going to be insane the amount of money spent on the litigation cycle.
Oh yeah, dude. There's teams and teams of lawyers standing by. They've got briefs and papers and motions and everything already filed and written and ready to go. If you want to get,
I won't be there for you every time.
To do in order to try to steal the election.
That guy is definitely a plant.
Page, Jack Murphy Live. Look at the video I did with Darren Beattie. Darren Beattie was a Trump administration speechwriter.
And you've been warned off.
He's a political science expert, philosopher, philosophy expert as well. And he has researched this extensively. Color revolutions. We do this all over the world. We help them incite large public demonstrations. We call them peaceful protesters. We call into question the validity of the results. We help engage them with legal strategies and all kinds of lawfare in order to get the vote disqualified. And the goal, the target, there's a plan. There's a plan. It's called the playbook. And it's targeted towards, quote, authoritarian regimes. And so the Democrats believe, obviously, that Donald Trump's authoritarian, so they're rolling out the Color Revolution playbook. Check it out, Darren Beattie, Dr. Darren Beattie on YouTube, Jack Murphy Live. It is a great 2-hour breakdown on the whole thing.
Have you and Carrie talked?
Okay.
We have not.
I think you wanna come and jump in? Yeah, come on in. So, but you know Carrie, right?
We just met briefly.
Yeah, two Democrats.
Oh, look, he's got the
and so
circles of protection everywhere.
Celine for joining
you guys
us.
can take it away.
Oh wait, are you leaving? And
Oh no, I'm leaving.
oh, stay,
yeah,
Celine.
no, you
please,
barely
please
have-
stay, Celine. Yeah, I was gonna say you haven't
TIMPOOL.
been here long. Ooh, the seat of honor. She is that.
Democrats are
Keep it down.
deplorable. What's
Correct.
up? 9 million Democratic voters ditched the Democrats in 2016, embraced Donald Trump. Were you one of those people? You were
I was
not.
one of the very hysterical, devastated people. But
I was hysterical and devastated.
And I've been wanting to meet you. My friend gave me your book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was like, there's certain people you have to read who've gone through this transformation, maybe, or this awakening before.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the books. Another one that was recommended to me was David Horowitz.
Okay.
And then most recently, someone suggested Witness.
Sounds like she's very interested to meet you, my friend.
A guy who's former
And she's age appropriate.
Easily happens. Yeah, well, I appreciate that. That's great to know. One of the reasons I wrote the book was because I wanted to give people a roadmap. Because, like, shaking free of your political beliefs and shaking free of the ideologies that you've allowed to sort of seep into your brain is a very difficult thing to do. And it's like an identity breakdown. It's like an ego experience. And sometimes you have to go through really traumatic.
Oh, we've got a little
experience
conspiracy
in order to let
theorist.
go of the belief systems that you have. And it can be sort of a scary place. It's like being out in the wilderness. You're sort of adrift. And you have to find your people. And so one of the reasons I wrote the book is I wanted to show the stories and the arcs of people that went through this process, what it was like for them, how they came out on the other side. And when you get here, when you get on the other side of the wall, how it's a nice, warm, happy place to be. It is, isn't it?
The way I talk about it is, yes, it takes a while to get over your fear because, like you said, so many people today, we have our identity tied up in things that are not our identity.
Yes, you gotta stay fluid. Don't like put your identity energy into one thing or into things you don't truly understand. You know how many times people put so much passion into something they know almost nothing about? Politics is a perfect example.
What are your principles? What do you believe in? If you believe in liberal principles and you're voting for Trump because you believe he's the most liberal candidate, which I do, you haven't changed as much as the party has changed. The Democratic Party has changed.
That's exactly right. Democratic Party kicked me out just at the moment that I was ready to get the hell out of town. Right? The whole world, I stood still. The whole world just rocketed to the left. I still believe in many of the same things. I mean, all the same things, right? Like individual accountability, leave me alone, I leave you alone. But like also, if people want to go to church and have their church communities and religious communities, fine, go do that as well. Please, we need it. We need that kind of stuff.
Whoa.
I'm also an advocate of cannabis deregulation. I'm a fan of or a supporter of gay marriage. When Obergefell happened, that was what opened the door for me to feel comfortable supporting a Republican. That was established and just finished law. And so once that happened, and now it looks like that cannabis is really just a matter of time, basically. And those issues sort of came off the table, and then, there's room for people to switch parties at that point. There's room for people who thought they were Democrats. Why was I a Democrat when I was young? Because I wanted people to leave me alone. Because I wanted to be able to like smoke weed, listen to my music, you know, and I just wanted people to have the ability to live their own lives and not be molested. And here now, the people on the left are the ones that are the left are the great molesters.
Indeed they are.
They're fundamentalists. And think about like in the 90s, the fundamentalists were, at least in America, the fundamentalists were on the religious right.
Definitely.
People saying, you can't read this, you can't watch this, like Smurfs are Satanists, and you can't like all
Rock
these
and roll,
different-
rock and roll.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it's
Nice.
changed.
Look
And
at
I think
this
a lot of
critter
people,
up here.
The ones that are still
Pack of notes. Terrible fetus.
in the 90s. And I'm like,
Oh my God! I gotta go read all that crap.
Yeah, and people don't know. So that's one
Terrible
of the things.
fetus?
I try to educate some of my old friends. It's a bad idea. Don't ever do it. Try to educate them, and they're just so uninformed as to what the ideologies and the politicians and that they support, what they really represent, what they really mean.
Which
They
is like the
Black
Thieves
Lives
Guild
Matter,
in
Black Lives
Skyrim.
Matter, that's great. But
They
they
totally
don't
stole
understand
that from
it's
the
actually
Thieves
a bunch of
Guild.
Communists that want to disrupt the nuclear family, diminish the power of the male. They want to do all kinds of terrible things. And yet people are like, oh yeah, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. But you try to explain it to them. So remember when that guy in Portland got shot by Antifa? And there was like random dudes like videotaped the whole thing. I interviewed a guy who videotaped the whole thing. Yeah, and we went through his video for like 2 hours, just step by step of like, there's the shooter. Why did you see the shooter there, et cetera, et cetera. And then near the end, he was saying that he was just, his daughter got him into activism and Black Lives Matter, whatever. I was like, dude, you know, you're a dad, you got a family. He's like, yeah. Is that important to you? You think that's a good thing? Yeah. And on the screen share, I pulled up Black Lives Matter website and I read it out loud to him, like, we want to disrupt the nuclear family, blah, blah, blah. And you know what he said to me? You know what he said to me? He
What'd
said,
he say?
it must be a typo. They just need
I
a
like
better
this
editor.
game. I gotta tell you.
They just need a better editor. Or when the Smithsonian posted that infographic that says how to be an anti-racist and what the varying levels of anti-racism are, and like the highest ideal of being an anti-racist is to be a white person who yields positions of power to people of color and other marginalized people. And I tell that to my friends, my old friends. I'm like, look, this is what it means. It means that they're breeding your children in order to give up positions of power based on skin color. Is that something you support? And they're like, oh, they must not really mean that.
Oh, look at that.
They must not really mean that.
You're wrong.
Said
They
Atlantis.
just can't actually read the words that are written on the page, spoken by the people that they're voting for and supporting.
Or they don't believe them because they sound too radical to people who are just level-headed or who consider themselves progressive.
Wow.
They don't understand.
I don't know. Is there a downstairs? Did I miss it?
Actually,
right, yeah.
There's a drain.
They're surface level. I mean, like you said, they hear the phrase Black Lives Matter.
What's your
Who
deal?
doesn't agree with that? Of course, Black Lives
Of
Matter.
course they do.
So they name it that.
Oh wow, you're in the town, baby.
On our podcast,
New fast travel point, Devil's Reef Hotel.
This is not
That's
like
cool.
someone said you shop only at
Wow, look at that.
Best Buys. Like, what is naming
This is
that?
way more in depth. You could take that little boat
Well, we
out.
are. That's the thing. We are that simple.
I mean, what do you
We are
want?
very,
I mean,
very
you know, I would compare this to the original Call of Cthulhu for the Xbox. Dark Corners of the Earth.
No, we're susceptible to programming. And
Yeah,
just
I
like
mean,
my
it's up
story
there
about
with the
mind
atmosphere,
is full of
man.
human being. The only thing I remember from 2012,
yeah.
because that meme made it way and burrowed into my brain. It just
Who
never
is that?
left. It's never left.
Is
And
that
so what
you?
do
It
do
looks like
when
you.
half the country are foot soldiers in a war, and they don't know why the generals have recruited them, and they're totally just sort of patsies. And they're
Infested
patsies who
area?
think
Is that what it
they're
says?
upper moral high ground. How do you shake people free of that?
Well, it's what you said. That sometimes there has to be some very uncomfortable personal.
U.S. mailbox, okay.
I mean, because I've had people contact me and say, you know, whether it's social justice or my girlfriend or my child or
Top
you know,
coats.
what are the steps to wake someone up from this cult of belief? And
Well, I'm getting a little bit tired, to be honest. I love this game. It's very good.
when you can show a person the same videos or help them read the same thing, it's gonna wake them up.
I'm very impressed.
A lot of people left this
Looks like I have to get into a boat.
they had a
I kind of want to explore whatever there is without a boat.
went through some trial or struggle where, in my case, it was figuring out, like, what do I even, who am I? What is my identity? You know, I was going through a divorce at the time. There were a lot of personal things in my life and personal crisis where I started trying to just step by step figure out, what do I believe about everything? Like, what's even meaningful?
Oh, yeah, you want this?
It sort of
How about
coincides
that?
with spiritual. awakening as well.
How about that, bitch?
So how do you can't provoke that in someone? Hey, I hope you have the worst time of your life in a personal crisis where you had to.
You can't wish that on someone.
Well, right, but they're basically like zombies. They're gonna come at you, and they're gonna come at you. They're gonna come at you.
Hi, how are
But
you?
you have to do something. You have to stop them. They're
Oh, I
not
just shot a
going
guy.
to away, which is the thing. They're not going to away.
Close.
And at some point, you
Ooh,
have to
look at
sort of
this.
accept that.
Look at
And
this
if
situation.
you're in a life or death battle with somebody, and they're the only ones who know that it is, you're gonna be
Nothing?
in big trouble. You got to figure it out. You know, maybe if Trump wins here, is it going to cause even more of a reaction on the left, more of a doubling down?
Probably,
Hitler,
yes.
Hitler, whatever. I suspect.
By the way, I like this old
You know,
bearded
my
dude.
tweet that I had did very well today, not about anything particular about the election. I just said, no matter what happens, Coach, where it gets worse tomorrow.
What the fuck is that? Is that a rat?
One of the things that held me back from deciding to vote for him was because I was afraid. You know that whole idea of law of attraction, right? Like the thing you focus on, you might bring into fruition, you might attract it, you might manifest it in your life. And so I was thinking, if I'm
That's some
really
creepy shit, bro.
I want to push back against social justice things because it's not legal. Are they going to do what they did in 2006?
Oh.
Double down on it and go further into it? Is there going to be more?
Can I get up?
Mainstream news now? Will it have the opposite effect of what I want? But
Oh, okay.
at the end of the day,
It's like-
I still had to go with the person I felt was the best candidate for the job. And that's what happened. If it's the whole idea, there's this equal and opposite reaction. Things get worse.
Yes, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
They're gonna get worse either way. Like this is a.
I'm just looking around, man. I'm probably gonna end the stream pretty soon, but oh, who's this guy?
You can't fix it.
There's just a corpse there.
What's going to happen is social justice warriors always double down. Excellent book by Vox Day. You should read it. SJWs always double down. And so they will double down again after this. If they lose, they'll double down. If they win, they're going to double down. Now, the thing is each time they double down, they get crazier and stupider and wilder.
And they lose people.
And they lose people,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
And so the way I've written about it is that it's an ever-tightening cordon between like the people who are in and the people who are out. And their barrier of who is in and who is out gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Bro, look at this accretion.
Right, you're out. You're out. And so these purity tests that they run are great for us, right?
Purity tests.
And then two, they do things that are done.
Wow, man. This is creepy as hell. The atmosphere is outstanding.
And, you know, like you're gonna see crazy rhetoric coming out trying to justify like how not only Latino voters, but Latino immigrants, so Latino voters, and then
Man, you couldn't get in here? We can't get in
voted
here?
to support Donald Trump. It just totally destroys their narrative, which is why when I talk to my own friends, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, vote for Obama.
What have you got to say? Are you like a street
They
preacher?
don't want to hear it from me. I was mistaken. I thought
That's great.
that my like past
Who are
life
these
and
guys?
credentials, all the great work that I've done. to
Is this a
kids in
freaking
the
cultist?
city,
Who the hell are you, bro?
schools, you know, the least racist.
Dude, does everybody
the
notice
least
this
racist
guy right
person
here?
In this room.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to.
Can I
had
pick
the
up the
thumbs
stick?
to back it up. I thought.
What happened to the stick?
Where'd
Where'd the stick go?
I thought about.
I wanted to pick up that stick, bro.
This is I'm coming at this from a place of love. Like supporting Donald Trump is a place of love for America and for love for you, crazy
bro.
SJWs,
What about here?
Because I know you're just sort of taken right now. That it's not rational. There's no rational or critical thinking happening, and so I try to like sit there and wait, and I think in 5 years maybe I hope
Alright.
one day one of them will just be Jack was right, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
They're never gonna want to admit it.
That's okay.
Well, I have a question for you. You worked at campus before. So the colleges, what was happening? The things that started happening at colleges, one of the first things that started.
Okay.
Really.
And
Yeah, I'm not worried about quests right now. I'm just like kind of running around. There's a symbol right there.
Charles Murray incident, Heather McDonald, there were all these escalate. Even the director of Boys Don't Cry.
How do you get up there, huh?
Awful.
Because that symbol is trying to tell me something, baby.
And as I saw these things happening, I started to realize this is going to get bigger. But how long have you been working for campus reform? What kind of lesson?
It loads pretty quick. It's pretty big too.
Based on what's been happening at the college.
Yeah. I think that's a
Pardon me, Fishhead.
great question. I think
little symbolic.
You know, he started the big
All right.
riots in Berkeley where they pretty much burned down the whole campus or started fires all around campus. And just that kind of thing has been, you know, it started with, okay, well, these ideas are dangerous and so we don't want them on our campus and it's our right to not have them. And so kind of the heckler's veto thing, Jarvis Murray, Milo, whatever.
The fauna in here is just nasty.
They don't even want anyone to be able to even say anything on their campus that might.
Yeah, the aiming with melee is not easy.
By their professors or what is just the general consensus of people around them.
Oh, okay.
Ever it perpetuates.
Okay.
The people who were in school in 2017 are now TAs, professors, and kind of the academia just kind of compounds upon itself where they're all just in this, like, we talk about echo chamber.
Well, I guess not.
It's an intense echo chamber where they're crazy at the idea of just
Okay, well, at least now I know that. Oh.
and so I think all of the campuses in a way are kind of at the center of this, kind of like what you were saying.
Jeez, like a freaking platypus and a slug.
That what they're saying sounds. People
Okay.
don't know what's happening on
That's a little rough.
campus. You hear people,
But you know what?
that sounds like bluff, right? But that's like
This is a Lovecraft game. It's all about atmosphere.
you're paying to learn.
And this has very good atmosphere.
Family is an issue. So.
And then they go to work in the morning.
Right.
Hmm.
And then
Well,
when
right.
somebody says something that's like normal, they're like,
Well, when they
okay,
go to
you're oppressing.
they go to work in the real world, and the corporations have decided that instead of making the new applicants, the new people adjust to their existing corporate culture, they're just completely bending and doing exactly what the new kids are demanding because it's all cloaked in this righteousness. How could you be against preventing bias and hiring? How could you be against sexual harassment? How could you be against all these things? Well, right, nobody is. But what you're going to do about it, kind stupid sirs, is a total disaster, is sort of the second part to that. Kind stupid sirs. I was gonna say
Something
kind
floating
stupid,
over
but
there.
I
that's
like
too-
that.
that's too
Yeah,
much.
it's true.
Yeah, and so it's just fascinating to have seen how the university produced these people into the corporate world who then have transformed
Wow.
corporations from top to bottom. It's
All right, let's
astonishing.
break
In my
down
book,
and look at the map.
I wrote college campuses are like the ground zero. The college student
Okay, what is
patient
this?
zero in the culture war. Because
The
they get turned
Oakmont
out of
Chronicle.
university and they crisscross the country and they take over these institutions. And now you've got people writing who are like senior writers at the New York Times now who have never had a real job,
Yeah,
who've
man.
never done anything other than go to university where they get indoctrinated and all this stuff. Then they're at the New York Times and they think that they're God. And then they start tweeting out things like the New York Times is the only people who get to decide who won the election, which they did today, and then they deleted it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think a misconception that conservatism, this is just me as an observer, is that this idea of these woke college students being somehow unemployable, they're all going to live in one's basement, or they're going to stay in academia, but they don't, because they go out to
Whoa.
the world and they work at and they transform, as you said, corporations, big social, entertainment.
Well, right. These are our elite institutions training our elite leaders who then are part of the Blue Church and go to New York City and San Francisco and
People that are
take
hiring
over.
them just graduated a few years ago, learned the same stuff, and they're just learning a more extreme example of it. And the other thing too is, you know, it used to be, okay, you learn
Charles
stuff
Reed,
when
private
you,
investigator.
you know, in the feminist
And I
theory
also need your old
classes
newspapers,
or whatever
the
the
archive,
fringe
to
kind
be
of
exact.
sociology classes. But now,
So,
you know,
so you're
white
the one who
privilege
cracked the
kind of
Albert Throgmorton murder
saved me
case.
from my whiteness
work.
or
I'm
critical race
Helen
theory stuff
Witt.
is being taught at
Say,
freshman
can
orientation
you
for
do me a
17
favor?
and 18.
Oh,
Right.
bro.
Just
Give me an
graduated.
exclusive
And
interview.
they're like, okay,
You
I'm going to
won't
college
regret
to
it.
learn how to be smart.
Alright,
And it's like the first thing.
This is like a whole chapter
integral into the
in
whole
my
thing.
book. Is like
Do you
it's
still
the
want that?
the indoctrination used to be in your classes, but now it starts in orientation. And the first thing is orientation. First of all, is run now by the diversity, equity, and inclusion offices, right? And the first thing they say is like, "Welcome. What are your pronouns?"
Right.
Day one, first question, first thing. That's it. And they've already completely obliterated science, reason, rational thought, all with just that one stupid
Or
question.
even just like, you know, regular classes,
tracking down the source of the psychic
communications
phenomenon that's been
classes,
causing
or anything.
Physics or math.
Yeah, right. Now it's starting to seep into the STEM stuff and physics and math and
then
science
psychology.
and all of that. But yeah, psychology and communication, sociology now for years have been okay. First day of class, fill out this grid of what your privileges are and and how where do you line up with all the other people in the class, and that's how we're going to conduct.
Who's this joker?
Look, the cycle in life will be this. These people will become the mainstream. They'll become the establishment.
All right. Is there any election update, TIMPOOL and crew?
A new generation of kids who are like, F you, whoever's in charge. Oh, you're in charge? F you.
3 search criteria.
Right? That's normal. And so I think we're starting to see some of that. I mean, there are definitely indications that Gen Z and some of the younger kids are getting their news from independent sources. They're getting red pilled at an earlier age. They're not beholden to CNN. They don't give a shit about what the corporations think. And they're like punks. Being punk now is to say F you to critical
After
race
the
theory,
flood.
F you to this. I'm going to be me. And that's why we need a space to be judgment-free about being you, and that's what Donald Trump provides. Donald Trump gets out there and makes space for all of us to be human, to have faults, to be frail, to be sort of imperfect. And this is the difference between right and left. On the right, I think that we embrace and understand that humans are not perfectible. You cannot have a perfect human. We all have faults, and there's evil in the world, and we accept it. On the left, they believe everything can be made perfect. Humans can be made ideal. We can get rid of evil in the world only if you just do what we say exactly the way that we say it. Everything will be just fine. Now,
after the flood,
but see, part of their mistake is
people,
believing that they don't
officials, section,
so they don't even see it growing in them
inside of them.
Front page.
My fear though is that it's even, as you know, it's starting earlier than college now. So I was indoctrinated.
Oh, bruh.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness it didn't hit me before then. But yeah, second grade, kindergartners.
That would be wartime, people.
My biggest fears, I guess, with where the ideology is spreading would be pre-K and the churches, because it's also moving into the churches and changing.
Let's see. After the flood, I think is right. People will say
we need something like that that's reporting.
Officials section.
How do I push back against this?
I get emails all the time, and I've investigated what's going on in my kids' schools when they're doing these struggle sessions based on courageous conversations, which is the absolute worst dribble out there. The precondition for participating in these struggle sessions is to say, I'm comfortable sitting and examining my whiteness. Like, come on, this is what my kids are supposed to do at school, taxpayer funded. And so talking to Christopher Rufo, right? He was just here last night. I had coffee with him the day before he came out here. Great guy, a real warrior. And he's giving hints that, inside the Department of Education, that Betsy DeVos and team are looking at ways to attack critical race theory in K-12 now, right? After Trump's executive order, that has sort of set a standard, and now it would be logical for the executive branch, the cabinet offices to roll out that executive order. And K-12, if you take federal funding, you should have to comply with federal mandates like that, which is sort of similar to how the 2011 DCL Dear Colleague letter.
That's right. After the flood again.
Order. There was the changes to the Title IX. Changes to Title IX in 2011 happened without public review. It happened without a vote. It was just a letter that they wrote, changing interpretation of various words like harassment and such, and violence and whatnot, that completely transformed what was going on college campuses. You absolutely know this. And Joe Biden was, of course, the king of rape culture. He was the one who swallowed the bait, the hook, the line, the sinker, the pole, and even the little girl that brought him the study that said that 1 in 4 girls on college campuses were getting raped. And he was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We have to save the college girls. And so what they do, they took away men's civil rights on campus, and they injected basically radical feminist thought.
Hello, librarian.
Into all the universities, doubled up all the Title IX offices, made them responsible for not only dealing with cases that were brought to them, but like seeking out and preventing any cases from happening as well, of harassment or violence. And of course, harassment is now like, I don't like the shirt you're wearing, right? Or I don't like your Halloween costume. We heard about that a couple years ago up at Yale and whatnot. And none of that is changing. None of that is getting
Ooh,
better,
nice.
except for now Trump with his Title IX.
All kinds of bullets at the library. Wow.
The Title IX reforms, were they strong enough? Did they go far enough? Is it going to be effective? Is it going to make change?
Well, I
It's a nice little office here. Trophies.
What they actually were, but what we saw was colleges just outright, whole systems of colleges.
And nothing. Oh, somebody's got a murder board. Somebody's got an investigation board.
As soon as you did that.
Those two men are making love.
We're just not gonna.
The KKK.
Go with what it was before.
Some kind of critter up there. Gorilla. Looks like a tribe of some kind.
The Office of Civil Rights needs to step in.
It's a man holding a skull.
There's so many things.
Look at that scandalous photo.
Maybe if he gets elected again, he'll do them better. Maybe. Lydia, I got to tap out. Lauren, you ready to come on?
Lauren.
All right. I'm going to tap out for a second, maybe back a little bit later. Thank you, everybody. Jack Murphy Live on Twitter and on YouTube. Follow me there. New videos every week. Bye.
Thanks, Jack Murphy. All right. Carrie, would you like
Jack
to
Murphy's
continue?
awesome,
I do
brother.
want us to read some super chats. Just a few. And I want us to look at the states and where we're at.
I just saw.
He wants to go talk with that lady and be like, hey, how about an autograph copy of that bird?
I'm in a focus
Yeah,
group
yeah, yeah.
for BBC of, I think it's 25 voters, and so we're in a WhatsApp community where they are sharing some of our messages
Bro.
online. And the Biden people, if I'm to take their reaction as any kind of indicator.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing up there?
Some of them are starting to get nasty and also
Oof.
freaking out.
Interesting.
So,
Curious to see. I love the drama. I'm sorry. I like the drama when it comes to politics. I really don't like it when it comes to like people being people. When it comes to politics, I think it's like our chance to kind of get into it. Well, you know,
the way that sports used to be.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like that.
Speaking of drama,
snap.
apparently the
Tell
Young
us.
Turks election night live stream, they're getting a little antsy. Jenks
Oh,
looking a little sweaty.
interesting. Of course he is. Okay, Lauren.
I mean, he's always quite
He's
sweaty.
always
but
quite
yeah,
sweaty.
No, apparently.
Ooh, Jank sweaty.
Are you serious?
For how things are going, I don't think they're as confident as they were. So yeah, I know after I get done here, I'm hoping that downstairs they turn on the Young Turks
I'm
live
super
stream.
here for it.
I want to watch that.
I love it. I'm excited. All right, let me read a couple super chats. Let me see what
All
I got.
right.
I saw that Kansas and Missouri went for Trump. I saw that Republicans got a couple new governors, which I think is great.
Florida was just called.
For Trump?
Finally, yeah.
For Trump.
Yeah, for Trump.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, awesome. I'm excited. Okay. Cool. If I can ever find the super chats, we'll read some of those.
Can I read you this one thing from the focus group? Latinos for Trump carried Florida. We will never allow for this country to accept socialism or communism.
Whoa.
And then this is the second person in the chat. We do not want a Cuba America. And then now, and the Biden people are like, on that note, I'm logging off.
Wow.
Yeah, I was looking at polls comparing like Hispanic voter turnout and support for Biden now compared to what it was for 2016 Hillary. And Trump is doing so much better than he did 4 years ago with Hispanics. So I think that's super interesting, the way that they Democrats really tried to court the whole like open borders thing, as well as trying to embrace things like socialism. And I think for a lot of especially Cuban Americans, hello Florida,
So you
that
know,
just wasn't a good move.
Well, you know what's really interesting to me is that the people I've known have been the most against open borders. They're not super conservative Christians. They are people who came here.
Yes,
They really care. They're like, my mom told me, I had a friend who was from Chihuahua, Mexico.
I like
And she
this
said,
young
"My
lady.
parents
She's
told me
really
that I
cool.
wanted people to respect me in the U.S. and I was to come here legally.
And she's
Everything
cute.
was right, and it was horrible, and it was hard, and we did it. We thought it was super important.
No,
And
for sure.
you better believe she does not like
Well, definitely, and as someone who's had to go through the like immigration process to live in the U.S. before, I've had to do the stupid visa applications. I've had
you've
to
done
pay,
the whole thing.
yeah, I've had to pay the fees and everything. I've had to get
All
the
right,
background checks,
so-
the medical tests. Like it's a big cost in terms of time, in terms of money, and it's kind of a slap in the face when someone like Joe Biden turns around and says pathway to citizenship for 11 million illegal aliens. And it's like, well, what are you going to do for the people? You know,
Oh man, I
who
gotta
don't
go
have
through
green
all
cards, who don't
these.
have
Note about the.
citizenship, who are on special types of
Where's the
visas.
one about
Really hard. Yeah, it's very very disrespectful. People who actually tried to play by the rules.
Let me read a few of my super chats.
Look at that fancy man.
So I got, okay, long live Tipsy Lids. First of all, I was
It's
not
at the
really
crossroads of
tipsy.
Asher and Hubert.
And I don't drink very often, that's true, but we're just having fun, guys. Come on, give me a break. I'm definitely not tipsy now, thanks though. I will live forever as long as I'm tipsy. I find it intriguing that Kenosha voted red, almost like the entire, almost like they don't like rioting. Interesting. That's so weird. Yeah, it is like they don't like writing. How weird. Okay, interesting. What if the electoral voters were decided by the counties? In Oregon, it is decided by like 4 counties. Look at the 2016 map for Oregon. It looks pretty bad. If you look at the counties, it's red except for the corner.
Northern Coverside.
Interesting. So I noticed that a lot of these states are red except for the towns, which I noticed in Colorado.
You mean the urban centers?
Like the cities.
Northern
Coverside.
Coverside.
Big cities. So like Denver, Boulder, and Colorado.
Asylum.
For sure.
Oh,
So
bro.
they turn a whole
And that's a huge, if you look at like breakdown of who voted for who. I mean, really in any election, the divide between rural and urban is super huge. It's like, it's as big as like almost between the genders or between, you know, different
Asher?
groups. It's huge. Well, I think people who are in
And
cities, they're
Hubert.
used to a lot of things. Like
There's
let's say,
Hubert
we
right
talked about
there.
this last night. You don't have to.
And I'm pretty close. I just got to keep walking.
That's
not as big of a
Yeah,
concern.
same with gun control.
Right.
Why would they need guns if they have police right around?
Well, I mean that's one as well, and it's like a, I don't know, it's probably a more diverse community. The jobs are different that people work in cities versus rural voters as well. Like education levels, there's a whole bunch of different things.
Old church. Yeah, I got a couple blocks to go. There's some kind of park here.
Instead of staying there and trying to change the culture, that they've run from the culture and run to the wilderness.
Some shitty ass park here.
Yeah, they get away.
I think that's probably right. All right, look at Virginia. It's Trump, not Biden. So Virginia is still a point of contention. Celine, did you know? Did you see if we know for sure one way or the other?
I did not see. I saw that they walked it back, but
Right.
But then before I came up here, it kind of looked like that might have been a little bit of the red mirage type thing. So the northern Virginia counties, they were.
I think
had been counted
when
together, so
I
there's
just came up, it
blue.
was red for now.
It was red for now.
Yeah, for now.
Interesting.
Mm.
Okay, cool. All right, so we got that. In New Zealand, RTV
We'll
has
go deal with the
America
police
Decides
later.
on News Hub. Google their
What's up,
title
50?
graphic. Take note of the DE and decide, please. Show the viewer in the bias, please, Tim. Okay, not Tim. I can look at it here when we're done or when I have a chance to go to the bathroom next. Tim, what's your take on them saying Virginia is ahead, but if you look at the votes, Trump is up a good percentage? That's what we were just talking about. He is, in fact, up a good percentage, and it was interesting to see them calling it for Biden when, Trump is up, like, percentage. So
I guess it depends on. We were talking about this last night, or not last night, downstairs. It depends on what precincts are in right now.
Yeah.
So if they're all
Things
the
are
rural
going
ones in right
sideways
now
in
voting
here.
for Trump, but the cities haven't been
Things are
counted yet,
going
it still makes
sideways in
sense
here.
to call it for Biden, depending on what Trump's lead is. But apparently that's not that accurate a way to do it because it looks like Virginia may actually go back for Trump now. So
Interesting.
Oh, bro.
Wild card this time. Okay, let's see. Rural Minnesota here. Strong Trump supporter. Almost everybody I know is pro-Trump. Very few Biden signs around me. I am curious. I did see that Minnesota went completely blue. So we will see. I believe you that your friends are all Trump supporters. But Minnesota, strong.
You dead. I kill you.
that is surprising to me because if somewhere like
Oh, are you
Minnesota
serious?
can, be affected by the riots, maybe go red. Minneapolis was crazy.
I know.
Another one?
I'm curious. I think that probably did swing it more than we realize. lives, and I'm really curious about Minneapolis. I just looking like a few days after this all settles down a little bit and see how Minneapolis did. All right, here's one. Got $500 on this, guys, from work. Ooh, go Trump.
Bro.
Good luck. From Perth, Western Australia. Oh, mate. Got Make Iraq Great Again from my mates who serves in Iraq. Very cool. It is not perfect, but the U.S. and Australia are only beaten by New Zealand.
Wasted 2 bullets on those things.
That's wonderful. I appreciate my Australian friends. They're a cool bunch. First, Tim, I love the news show.
Somebody else is here.
Mine is about cancel culture. Very cool. Check it out later. Gives us a link.
It's the.
What's our name? The Life of Rice.
It's the freaking seller.
How will the National Populist Vote Interstate? Oh, okay. The National Popular Vote Interstate Compact impact this election. I do know it was on the ballot.
Nice cordite.
Anything about the Interstate Compact? Anything at all?
I know that it was a topic of conversation. It was on the ballot, but no, not really. I don't know.
Okay.
How people are.
I know Andrew can talk about it here in a little bit. Lauren, do you know anything about the Interstate Compact?
I do not.
Nowhere to run, nowhere to
A lot
hide.
more about it than I do, and then we'll have Andrew talk about it when he comes up here because he's waving at me from over in the corner. I see him over there.
He's waving at me.
All right, last super chat I think we'll do for this time, and then we will mix it up. We'll mix up our guests if it's okay with you, Celine. We'll bring Ryan or Andrew in. Sorry about that. Okay, we have this from Geraldo Oliveras. There we go. My hometown, South Texas County, LaSalle, has been blue for years. Finally turned red. Oh, cool. F yeah. Woohoo. I was an Obama supporter, voted Johnson last year. Same, bro. And now first time Trump. Very cool. Me too. Welcome to the club. So excited about all of this right now. Love y'all's work. Has helped me realize what it is actually going on. Very cool. I'm happy to hear it, my friend. We're very glad to have you. I think we made it almost all the way to the bottom. We're doing really well on Super Chats tonight.
The most boring billiards ever.
And thank you guys for staying.
It's all cue balls.
People hanging out with us, like 53,000 people. It's amazing. Super cool. No need to feel
the chat
nervous.
is lit right now.
I know. Everyone is like,
Somebody says, I can.
The chat is lit.
They're freaking out.
Ooh, I kind of want to now.
Well, one of my friends is watching the Young Turks, which again I want to do as soon as I leave here. They say that apparently they're mad that Dems lost union worker voters, so that's what they're complaining about right now. I'm not surprised though. If you look at someone like Trump, he's been very like pro-manufacturing, et cetera, versus like this time around. I did see that in the primaries, especially Democrats tried to like give huge nods to unions and things like that, but at the same time, they're also kind of open borders, which, as we all know, if you're in a lower skilled job or manual job, that's going to affect your wages.
With that.
Exactly.
For sure. That's a very interesting observation I hadn't thought about.
So, one quick question before we get back to that question. Why don't they look at why they're losing those voters, though?
It's because they're racist, obviously. So
my bullets, thanks.
Though. Their solutions are so simplistic. How about some actual nuanced answers, man? Why is that so complicated? Can we actually have some serious conversation about stuff that needs to be talked about?
But they're not gonna.
No, apparently not.
Yeah. So in 2016, I was devastated that Trump won. Then I started trying to figure out why he won.
Okay, where's the door out?
I wanted to understand it because I thought if we don't understand why he won, we can't beat him next time.
Exactly.
Right.
This is true.
Smart. But they weren't asking these questions. And on Twitter, you guys may have talked about this, but I see them now. Instead of asking, why is Trump getting a high percentage of Latino vote in Florida, they're saying, hey, guess what? Those Latinos are not Latino.
That'll
help. They're tweeting stuff about how they're actually ethnically white, and that explains it.
Oh,
You're
give
not
me a
asking
break.
questions.
Wow, there you go.
That's you know what, Carrie, you ask these questions because you are smart.
Yeah.
And they didn't because they're not. I'm pretty sure that's just the bottom line. Okay.
We found it, baby.
Andrew, do you want to tell us about?
I love the fact that there are no markers, and you can put your own marker in.
Yes. Every state that is part of this compact, they promised. They basically
Somebody
pledged to
kicked
give
it in
their
with the big hobnail boot.
electoral votes to the person that won the popular vote. And that's fine, but there aren't enough states that, like, say New York, right? It's probably going to be a Democrat that wins the popular vote. So
It's probably going to be bullshit. I should probably get my gun back out.
Make a difference. So that's
Let's use this one.
In a nutshell.
Do you know which
The
one?
revolver, you know, the old duffer
Sorry to put
gun.
you on the spot.
Let me think, Lauren.
Divers with the bends.
I know.
Okay.
I know it's a lot of blue states.
Yeah.
That's it's New York and California and stuff like that. And it's not here's some news real quick.
Yes, bring us news of the world.
Tommy Tuberville.
Yes.
Look at those
Alabama,
artifacts.
Senate
Very
candidate
cool
beat,
stuff.
Doug Jones.
Oh wow.
So the Senate.
Look at that tiny
the
little
seat,
radio.
then
It's
they
ridiculous.
Lost the seat because Cory Gardner lost his race in Colorado to
That's right, I
Hickenlooper.
did see that he lost him.
So I don't know. I thought that we were going to gain a seat, but we'll see. It's possible we might break even.
Okay, I was reading 538, so we can look at some of that just for a second. Okay, so I do know that Trump is behind in the Electoral College. Biden actually has 209 right now, which is sad for me.
Well, that's because California announced, and they have just like all the electoral votes.
That's true. They have literally all of them.
Yeah.
Literally all of them. That's not even really an
Yeah.
exaggeration.
Are they in the pack?
They probably would
are,
be,
but
I imagine.
but could you just imagine if you were one of these blue states and then like Trump won the popular vote? Maybe yeah, we're
He's gonna work.
That's cool, man.
Pat,
Look
we-
at that.
What do we do? What do we do?
we leave the we resign from the compact.
Yeah, we're out. Bye.
they
Peace
renege?
out.
Yeah.
I don't think they can. Yeah.
Oh my
that'd be
gosh,
funny.
that's what is
Whoops.
the popular vote looking like right now? Is Biden in the lead for that now?
Biden
since-
is not in the
Well, I
lead
was
for that.
hoping
Trump is
California
winning.
might.
He's ahead by something like
Sure is.
300,000, if I.
By quite a bit,
or
yeah.
3 million, excuse me.
I was
Yeah.
hoping that California might flip red,
Oh
right?
gosh, don't pull a Biden on us.
I was concerned it might flip
Take a
red.
peek at
Yeah.
538. We'll look at like the Senate and stuff.
Oh wow,
Oh,
that's
they
find
just
it.
called Arizona for Biden.
Oh really? Interesting.
oh.
Okay.
But if he makes up for if he ends up winning Wisconsin and Michigan, then that'll make up for it.
And
like then-
Pennsylvania and North Carolina?
well, that's
Is that too
yeah.
optimistic?
North
Maybe a
Carolina, I think they're
little,
counting
yeah.
votes until the 6th, so
Oh,
it's like there wasn't enough early voting.
Report
they-
numerous
Okay.
large bubbles
They need
and
to
an
extend
unbearable
it.
Yeah,
stench.
sure.
Extend it into
Extend it.
December.
Bought a sample of a weird
Right.
substance.
Not sketchy at all.
No.
Great, guys.
All right, I did see that 538 has. Oh, let's see. We're looking at Florida.
And Florida was definitely called for Trump.
Nice.
That's,
Florida's solid for Trump.
thank you,
Awesome.
Latinos. Oh,
Very cool. What do we got? What do we got? Who is it?
Astronaut Kelly beat Martha McSally in Arizona too.
Oh,
so
no.
that's a Senate seat lost.
It's all the Californians going into
Okay.
Arizona.
They're killing
Can you?
me.
That stinks.
That's bad, yeah.
That's true. That's hard to.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
she was in the military too.
Yeah,
like,
was she like a fighter pilot or something?
Yeah, she's more important than just going into space. Whatever.
just like
hanging
fighting
out.
stuff. Yeah. I
Wow,
love it.
like actually going out and serving, as opposed to I'm gonna see a lot of stars.
Okay, so it looks like can't talk. It looks like Ohio went for Trump 53 to 45. That's kind of interesting. Let me look here at Virginia. Let's see what Virginia's got because that's the one we're not sure about. They are still calling it for Biden even though Trump is ahead by 3%.
Yeah, I think it has to do with exit polling and just
Wrapping
electoral
stuff up.
history.
I
yeah.
am curious.
Well, I don't know if you guys have already talked about this, but we were talking about it downstairs. Vegas odds for Trump.
Yeah, a little bit. I did see that they flipped over for
I think
Trump. Tim was looking at that too.
Someone was saying 6 to 1 now in favor of Trump.
Oh,
Is it
which
too late? Is it too late to place a bet, Lauren?
I would say so. I would say
But you know
so.
what? I would actually vote against the candidate or bet against the candidate that I wanted to win because well that way I'm covered either way. Like if Trump loses, at least I have some money. Like at least I won a bet, and if Trump wins, I lose the bet. But hey, Trump, so you have something to look forward to. It's not a total disaster. of a thing.
So what you're saying is that you
Hedge your bets.
You hedge your bet,
Correct,
and
sir.
you bet So if you bet all your money on Biden, and if Biden wins, then you take your winnings and invest in gold when we go into
The
you know, like
depression.
a crazy
Yes,
depression
the
and
whole
inflation
huge depression.
When we live
sets
in
in.
Mad Max world.
Exactly. I'll have gold.
That's great.
That's really smart. This is
smart.
why.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like what you think.
Lauren Chen, she's
Follow for more financial
That's
advice.
right. Oh my gosh. You really want to give people financial advice, Lauren?
you should pitch a show to Fox Business.
Yeah, don't do it. Oh my gosh. All right, so right now it looks like we have 2 something to 1 something. 209 to 118. Okay, well, that's fine. It looks like Colorado's blue, New Mexico's blue, Illinois is blue, California, Oregon, Washington blue.
Wait, California?
California is blue.
Blue?
I know. Shocking.
Blue.
Shocking, I know. Okay.
Letters from Oakmont, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
See
Let's
what's
look.
happening.
Let's scroll down here. It's looking
They wrote in
gray.
Beto.
They did write in Beto. Yeah.
Well,
Might be a little too close to
who
call.
just?
Check
Oh,
it out.
Bio popped in.
51%.
Bio, I'm doing like a political like election night live stream. Where did this come from? What's up, Spiowama, you old Feta Keen, you bastard? You are just the gaming guru, bro. Thank you for dropping in. I just thought, I'm going to do the Sinking City, which is kind of like Shadows of Halloween. I'm so sad it's over. I'm sad spooky time is over. But I had originally gotten the Sinking City to do on Halloween, but I kind of missed my chance. I actually went to a neighbor's party, and, you know, things went my way. You know what I'm saying? But I thought to myself, I'm going to stream this game today. And the election is so big, you know, why not just run, and I was like, who am I going to stream election coverage? I didn't want to do mainstream media because they're trash. So I wanted to do TIMPOOL, who I think is pretty cool. You know, he's a pretty cool dude. He's a skater. You know, he's a Gen Z. He's a Zoomer. But, or he's a Gen Y, actually, I think. But it's, you know, it's kind of middle of the road. And he's got like a decent crew that are just fucking young, too. They're young. You know, they don't know everything, but God, man, they're not like ancient crypt keepers that are running our freaking government right now. God bless America. All right, going to take a little break. You can watch TIMPOOL's live stream. I'll be right back.
I guess it's like the mixture, the cognitive dissonance between your ideology and your belief system versus your everyday life, right? Because I think there's a lot of Californians who probably think they do believe in something like a redistributive tax policy. Like, of course I want to help the poor, etc. But then they're also confronted with, man, I'm spending a lot of money on these regulations. I should move. But they still have that hope and that need. They feel like they need to vote for these policies, right? And I don't think it's that easy for some of these people to actually, you know, divorce those two things, which is frustrating because then you're going to, like, Texas is just a little bit behind Arizona, which as we're already seeing now, like, before it was purple, like, it's blue right now, right? Arizona is blue. And I think, like, as long as these like Californians keep acting like locusts, not like you, because you're not going to bring the policies with you. This is just going to be a cycle that keeps repeating itself. And I think the only hope for California currently is that if so many Californians leave California, where it can just become this no man's land for a little bit, and then eventually become resettled and repopulated. Otherwise, I don't see any hope for California, unfortunately.
I think you're right, Lauren, where you're saying that people are splitting the difference, and you know they're like, well, you know, our schools are terrible, taxes are too high, and they think about those things, but then when they go to Texas, they're like, I hate guns.
Yeah.
I need to go to the city council, and I need to talk to them about local, you know, I need to get that gun shop to shut down, and you know, because they're in a school zone or whatever. I don't know. But they don't take the whole thing into consideration. Like, California is bad because of all these things. They just think California is bad because of these two things I really care about, because I have kids and I want better schools, and you know. But well, we can go to Texas and we can fix all the things that we like Texas, but there's a lot of things wrong that we can fix.
Right.
And it's that's what's killing Texas.
Yeah, it's so
Right,
arrogant
yeah.
though. It's so arrogant. I'm coming into this place that I like, that
This new place,
and this
not mine.
culture. But now I'm going to change it to the one I just left, which I couldn't do. It's so arrogant.
Yeah.
Like, why are there so many pickup trucks here in
I
Texas?
don't
Why?
like it. Where's
Why
my
aren't they all
Prius?
electric? This is
Seriously.
crazy.
Yeah.
We need to do something.
Although
This is not.
I have to say, like, I've visited Texas a lot. Blaze's headquarters there. A lot of people in Texas have pickup trucks who don't actually need pickup trucks.
That's
all
fair.
I'll say on
That's
the
fair.
That's all I'll say on the
That
issue.
is fair.
Yeah.
But it is
I
their
have
right
a-
to own a pickup truck.
It is.
It is my
They
right.
do whatever they want.
It is my right.
That's right, Carrie. You tell us. It is for sure.
So you're pushing your ideas onto Texas.
Oh, I
Yes.
see how it is.
Yes,
no,
I
she's
am.
not.
Are you trying?
She's
Are you
not.
trying to?
No, but I'm not living there.
Are you trying
Yeah.
to? Well,
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah.
No, I'm okay.
I dare say that Carrie's doing the right thing by adopting Texan culture and owning a
Well-
truck even when
well,
she doesn't
actually,
need one.
I've always owned a truck.
Oh,
I've never had a
really?
car because I grew up in South Carolina.
Oh, interesting.
Also pickup country.
Yeah, for
You have a
sure.
gun
for
rack?
So
sure.
I do not have a gun rack, but I've got the guns.
That's right, man. That's what you gotta do. Okay, let's read a little bit from 538. Okay, this is another consequence of Democrats not picking a bunch of Senate seats would be that it would be it'd become very unlikely they'd have the votes to do anything about the courts. Good point, because it doesn't look like Democrats are doing well. So right now Biden has 187, Trump has 114, whatever, we talked about that. Democrats have 41 Senate seats and Republicans have 44. That's good. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I find
I
that
saw-
For now,
fascinating.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
did
for
see
now.
that the odds were that Republicans are going to keep the Senate and Democrats are going to keep the House.
Yep.
So-
Yeah, so that looks like that'll happen. It looks like the House has 200 Democrats and 177 Republicans.
Well, Lauren,
So-
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Continue.
Lauren and I downstairs were talking about how we've never been to a Trump rally, and I really want to go to a Trump rally. Just for that experience, and we're hoping that if Trump wins, that he'll do more rallies. First, he'll do like a victory lap.
Right.
Which
I hope
he
so.
did.
I really hope so.
Which he did
I
in
want to go.
2017. Yeah.
I really want to go to one too.
But he'll do a victory lap, and then he'll definitely try and win back the House by getting behind like a whole bunch of candidates. That's what I would do at least. I'm no Corey Lewandowski.
Yeah.
I could, or I'm not one of his senior advisors on this kind of thing. But that's what I would do, and then that way it's like, you want Trump care, you want it, you got to vote, you got to flip the House, to Republican. And so what do you guys think about like looking ahead 4 years? What if Trump wins? Do you think a Democrat comes and swoops in, because it's all very cyclical?
Yeah.
It's usually like
Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican.
usually, yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
typically it's more. Obviously, what do you think?
I mean, I think that's probably going to be, and even just based off of, like you said, the cycle, it's pretty likely that Trump is going to win re-election because he's the incumbent. And for a lot of
Yeah.
people, it's just, oh right, you're still president. Things are all right.
They're
Let's
great.
Just, you keep it the way it
Economy's
is,
great, yeah.
right? And with that being said, usually by 2 terms, people are fed up, and then they go back to the other side, which is, I think, probably.
Okay, almost done.
Love to see some sort of like Trump dynasty where it's like Pence, after this, and then like Barron or something by then, and it's just. But no, it'll probably be Democrat.
The
and
tallest president ever.
Yeah, seriously.
And but I think in terms of the next 4 years, next 2 years are definitely going to be frustrating because it's going to be the same gridlock pretty much that we're in right now. I mean, there's not really going to be any movement meaningful on the budget or health care with Democrats controlling the House.
Yeah, for sure.
If gosh, I forget. I don't even want to say this. It's so grim, but I mean, if the next Supreme Court justice leaves, I'm not going to say dies, but leaves.
Retire.
Got a rug
retire,
underneath my chair.
Maybe the Senate. Could
Okay.
so that would maybe even be 4 justices for Trump. But yeah, aside from that,
See where we're at, bro.
more riled up.
Hey, bro.
It's gonna get done.
I'm gonna say this real quick. If Trump does lose tonight, Three Supreme Courts. Oh my goodness, 3 Supreme Court justices is a pretty good legacy.
Yeah.
So,
That's wonderful.
You know.
Yeah.
And
but
Barrett is
How badly the flood damaged it as an unnatural
she's
peel.
48.
Yeah.
How about you? What's your prediction?
Well, if Trump wins, I actually, to go back to something Jack Murphy said earlier, I think that the social justice left, which is now taking over the Democratic Party, is going to double down. If 2016 is any indication, they're not going to ask those difficult questions. They're not going to say, why are people leaving the left? They're going to continue to call those of us who've walked away Russian bots and liars, and they're not going to ask, why are Latinos...
Oh my God, bro. And it gives a location.
...percentage of the black population than any other Republican in modern history? Why is he getting women? They're not going to ask the real questions, and I think they're going to double down. And when they do that, when they speed it up very fast, like one of the things that happened in the past 6 months is when they sped it up and it went mainstream, and suddenly corporations are selling us woke ideology.
The lone child.
People start to wake up because you're boiling the frog slowly, but when the frog starts to realize, oh wait, it's boiling, I'm going to jump out of this, and so I'm actually.
Oh wow, these are all things for you to track down.
If they double down, and I think they will, that more people wake up, and that there won't be. I'm hoping.
It's almost like acceleration.
Yes,
Like, yeah, definitely.
acceleration, so that more people wake up, and until they learn their lesson and return to liberal values, which I don't know if they'll ever do, but I think hopefully they're going to keep, as long as they stay on this woke path, which is not liberal. Like I hope they keep losing people, and I hope in 4 years, like you said, Pence or someone. I can't even believe I'm saying that. I used
Right.
to think, I was like, Pence,
Evil, yeah.
But I listened to the man for the first time. A lot of people in the cult, they don't actually listen to the things they have opinions about. They're told, they get these received opinions. They're told what to think about people like Pence. I was told what to believe about him. I never listened to him. When you start actually listening to him and you realize, why did I hate this person? Or why did I have all these opinions where did I form them?
He's so calming,
He
right?
really
Like
is.
if you watch the coronavirus task force meetings,
Yes.
you'd have Trump like, and then Pence would come and it's like, this is what we're working on. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
We're doing this, and this, and he's
Terrible
he's just,
fetus.
Like the yin and the yang.
He was in the vice presidential debate with Kamala. I mentioned she was so smug and condescending.
He did great.
But he was sort of like that very patient and loving father at the Thanksgiving dinner table after his daughters come home from college and is calling him a white supremacist, and he's just like patiently putting up with her arrogance and her smugness and with love. I felt like, wow, like he's not letting it trigger him. He's not responding in the same
Wow,
way.
that's scary,
He's not giving
man.
her arrogance back.
Pence did the same thing with Tim Kaine.
So you can go find these locations.
Tim Kaine looked like an impatient person, and he just Pence's calmness just really got under Tim Kaine's skin, and it's so just as far as a vice presidential pick, I do not understand to this day completely. I understand like a tiny bit why Hillary picked Tim Pence. Tim Kaine. Tim Pence.
I was like, whoa, who's that?
He's
the same.
the only thing Kaine was a senator. She definitely wanted to win Virginia.
Right.
And he was like the leader of the DNC for like 5 days, and I think that it was just like part of his connections and everything, but he was not charismatic. Vice presidential pick, and neither is Kamala. She's not charismatic in any.
She's the worst. She's like anti-charismatic.
Yeah. She's awful. You can put all the Converse sneakers you want on her.
Seriously.
And make her dance. Like, look, Trump can't dance. Fine, whatever. But it's
he can.
But it's.
I love his dancing.
I do like his dad dance.
But it's.
I love it.
But it's
his dad dance.
It's endearing.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
And you have to watch it. It's fun. He's having a fun time.
I watched that
montage
to YMCA like 5 times.
And he's doing that dance that he did on SNL. Like, that's something. It's not like he was doing that as a joke. That's how he dances.
Unfortunately, yes. Here we are.
But Lydia, what do you think? What do you predict happens in 2024?
So after this presidency, whoever this is that wins. If it is a Republican, I dare say, I have a contentious idea that if we do have a Republican again, I think that it will be time for a Democrat. And hopefully by that point in time, the Democrats will have realized that identity politics is not the way to go, that being woke is an awful idea, and that these kinds of ideas
Being woke
don't work, and they will have reformed. And I do think this is a little bit of
Well,
rebuild.
I don't think there's anything left in here.
I really wish they hadn't chosen a man with literal dementia to speak for them. Give me a break. They had Tulsi Gabbard, they had Andrew Yang. I had issues with both of them. But at the same time, they were young, they were versatile, they could get it done. You know, they could actually make it happen.
But they weren't charismatic enough.
I thought Tulsi was.
I like
I did
Tulsi.
too.
Yeah.
I like Tulsi, but she
Yeah.
was not. She was like a one-trick pony.
Really?
All it was is endless wars. We got to end
That's
wars.
true. Yeah, I
and-
remember that in one of the debates.
Like,
I was
name
do
something else.
Well,
Seriously.
she's far left in terms of domestic politics.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's
she
why
had a Green New Deal before AOC had a Green
I
New
hated some of her other
and that's the
policies,
thing. Is like
yeah.
a lot of conservatives or people on the right really like her because she's anti-war, anti-establishment. She's hard on big tech too. But then it's like, all right, don't get too cozy because she does.
Whoa, secret. Oh, bro.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But the thing about
Secret
Democrats
room?
is, like, I feel like they're in this kind of cycle where anytime the public rejects them, they just use it as evidence that everything they're saying is right. It's like, oh, well, they didn't vote for Biden. That's because
Whoa,
it
the
wasn't left
seller?
enough. It's because we're not giving them enough things like
Right.
Medicare for all, which is exactly what people like Kyle Kalinske are going to say when Biden loses. It's because the Democrats were too wishy-washy. They weren't left enough and progressive enough. Because then the base wasn't mobilized. Or, oh, it's because, you know, the voter suppression because of systemic racism, it was too great to overcome. Like, they don't take the feedback as evidence.
Wow.
Exactly. They double down. Exactly what you were saying. They're going to double down.
Yeah.
Like, I hope what you're saying is true.
Yeah, I do
hope
hope
that
so.
this election is when we realize why are we losing? Why are we bleeding liberals?
What's
and progressives?
happening?
But I hope that's true.
Well, maybe because Joe Biden's
But
a
I have-
candidate. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
that's
that's a fair
maybe,
Damn!
maybe a big reason.
That could be part of it.
If Biden happens to pull off a win, which is still possible. God
Maybe.
save us.
Yeah.
But-
Maybe. God help us.
But if he does win, do you think he's going to campaign for a second term? That's not going to happen.
No way.
Yeah.
That cannot happen.
Yeah.
He could barely campaign now.
It'd be like Weekend at Bernie's if he
Like,
tried.
Literally,
More
yeah.
so than
Having
now.
a global pandemic was the best thing to happen to him.
Seriously.
Because he didn't
Weirdly enough, yeah.
you know, and I mean, just look at the last week of all these crazy gaffes. Like, just
Man.
look at what happened to him. You know, like, you think he's gonna?
Woo! Guy came
he's
out
gonna
of
get
nowhere and just fucking
inaugurated,
shot me
he's gonna
dead.
He's going to give his first joint address to joint address to Congress, and you're never going to see him again.
Exactly.
It's
yeah.
it's
yeah.
President Harris all the way.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're
And
right,
if
unfortunately.
Biden wins, there's no way that the Democrats are going to get a second term because they're going to be like, you just wasted our time. Now we don't even like Harris.
right.
We're going to vote for her like after Biden kind of.
See, that's one thing about Biden is
You know, it's going to be.
I can't believe he's
Biden will
even
be a
carrying
one-term
any
president,
states with that
or
as
Trump will
a
win, and we'll have a
with
Democrat
Harris
president.
as a
That's my-
VP.
That's my.
Well, that's
you know.
something that I've heard a lot
She's
of.
very unlikable character. Oh my God, where am I?
I
Oh.
was told that saying that means I'm sexist.
Yes, this is what they're saying.
Yeah, and also I
Uh-oh, I think I
were
locked
saying that
up.
about Hillary Clinton again, sexism. So I want to ask you all: is it us? Like, are we just being sexist against Kamala, or is she really just unlikable? Because I try to, put myself in a position where, all right, what if I didn't know what her political beliefs are? Would I really find this woman this unlikable? And part of me just says, yes, she's obviously fake and manufactured, but I don't know. All of these Democrats are trying to tell me that actually she's stunning and brave and empowering and funny.
Wrong.
I don't know.
Stunning and
Yeah.
brave.
This is a thing that so when I was in the social justice lab, we focused a lot on controlling language. The social justice lab was very concerned with controlling
They
language.
were.
Because that controls
Yeah.
thought.
It
And
does.
so I was in a lot of nonprofits, and one of them was called Women Action Media. And we would spend time doing things that maybe people on the right would find inconsequential or small, but we would do letter writing campaigns. Anytime a journalist referred to a woman as unlikable or something, we would do letter writing. That's sexist. You shouldn't be using that language. And over time, all those little nonprofits here and there that are doing work
They
like
caved.
that seems small, they're changing thought.
They caved.
They're getting the AP to minds of people that work in media that, well, these things are now things we're not allowed to say about women. It's simply untrue. There are women who are unlikable.
That's
Like,
true.
I don't think that's
I
true.
know some
Oh,
of them.
Seamus.
I've never met a single unlikable woman
I
in
have
my life.
never.
I have a question for you as
Yes.
far as your letter writing.
Yeah.
Your letter writing campaigns. What did the letters look like when you accused journalists of being unfair to Sarah Palin?
Yes, that is an excellent point.
What were they like?
Because we did not do that.
I'm-
Of course
you're kidding.
not. I'm shocked.
I'm shocked.
No, I know.
And see that's
Yeah.
obviously that's part of the double standard. But when it comes to Hillary and when it comes to Kamala, they're going for like the first and second highest offices in the land, right?
Yeah.
But with other women who run for political office, when they run, most like if they get past the primary, nobody cares whether they're a man or a woman.
Yeah.
It's mostly who, like what political affiliation. If they're, are they a Democrat or are they a Republican? Most people vote down party lines.
Yeah.
And it's not about whether this person's a woman or not. Women. There was a report. I mean, there's been studies on this that when women run, they win, but women just don't want to run. They don't care.
More often than not, yeah.
And it's
because we don't encourage them to want to run because we live in a sexist society that tells little girls that when they disagree, they're being bossy and they should never assert themselves.
Seamus, have you seen that cartoon? You're an artist. Have you seen that cartoon? I forget who did it. You might know, but it's a cartoon of a jobs fair, and there's two tables, one for STEM and one for women's studies. And there's a guy sitting at the STEM table, there's a woman at the women's studies table, and so all these new students come over.
What about the guy who shot me dead?
For the women's studies table, and then in the next scene, you see all these same women now have pickets, they have signs and stuff, and they're protesting the STEM booth.
I
saying,
saw
"More women
that.
in STEM."
I saw that. I thought that was great.
It was wonderful.
It was funny. You asked me to identify it based on the fact that it was a job.
Shit!
I'm a cartoonist. I've never seen one
Never
of those.
been to
I
a
have
job
no
fair
idea what a
before.
job
What are you
fair
talking
is.
about?
God damn it, man.
This was not planned, but we got the old gang back together. This is the exact same
Yeah,
group
we
that was
sure
talking
did.
earlier in the night.
I'm like, I'm doing detective work,
I have to say,
and now
when we
getting
were
shot
off,
again.
Both of these kids
Dang.
came up and whispered to me at different points in the night, I hope Biden wins.
Really?
I won't tell anyone.
What?
Like
You're
if you
not
tell
allowed to
anyone I said this,
this.
if you tell anyone I said this, I'm gonna
Seamus.
punch you in the head.
You're
So they're
such
both
an
probably gonna punch me in the.
Esther.
They're probably both gonna punch me in
I'll
the head
punch
later.
you
But
in
they
the
were both
head.
telling me they love Joe Biden
I will
secretly.
punch
I just
you.
can't
Me
wait.
and Andrew?
Yeah, both of you.
But why?
Oh, snap.
You guys came up behind me like, we love Joe Biden.
I don't understand this.
I was like, guys, I'm actually starting to think I'm starting to think it's looking good for Trump, and they were like, don't say that. Stop it.
I love Joe Biden.
Well,
Yeah.
getting back to the whole thing with, trying to get women to trying to social engineer
Yeah.
these things. What if women don't want to go
What if
into
we
STEM?
don't?
Like,
How dare they?
Yeah, what if
their
we don't?
their
They don't ask that
bodies, their like
Their bodies, their
But this is,
choices,
but no, this
right?
is interesting because this actually gets into what we were discussing earlier about UBI and command economies and the idea of looking at an entire social structure and saying like, no, we need more people in this place or that place, despite the fact that they're choosing something different when we leave them to their own devices. It's a strange version of that, where you're saying, no, you know what we need? We actually need to have gender parity in this particular field, or ethnic parity in this particular field. Why?
Yeah, we don't have to.
Why not just
What
let
a
the
great
people
question.
why not just let the people who are interested in studying something or occupying themselves in a particular career do that?
That would be
But
best.
they also, there's another double standard, which is that they only do that with certain fields.
Yes.
As you know,
Yes.
sure. They never say we need parity in garbage collecting. Why don't we have 50% women? Or in the homeless population, why is that mostly men? We need to get 50%
Or
of the homeless
soldiers,
women.
yeah.
They
or
don't do that.
or social workers. You don't go. There aren't enough men in
Right. Nobody says there aren't enough
No,
male
but-
nurses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe maybe you need more female cops.
Right.
I mean, that's
That's a little
more
different.
that's more about a
But
community
even that's different.
thing,
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, garbage men. Maybe women. Are you gonna go look? The only job that we're gonna give you, your government job.
Right. Exactly.
The House and the Senate and the Green New Deal, and they're just going to be like, well, okay,
Uh-oh.
you're going to have a government job now, so you can pick between, garbage.
Whatever.
Well, it's
I gotta
really
kill
funny
this
though.
jackass.
Well, no, because people will say this. I mean, they'll look at different girls, and when we sit here and we point out the fact that women just tend not to be interested in the fields that the progressive left thinks that they should have parity in. And you say that, like, well, you know, it does actually tend to be the case that women work fewer hours.
Yeah,
because they are,
bastard!
as a whole, more interested in mothering and paying attention to their children. They look at you as if you've said something horrible because they view that as a bad thing, which is strange. I mean, why would it be bad to just want to be a mother? Why would it be bad to want to focus more attention on your family than on your career?
Yeah.
They're the ones who make that assessment, and it's ironic because that's actually a quote-unquote patriarchal assumption, right? You're assuming the thing which is traditionally assigned to women or traditionally done by women is worse than the thing that is traditionally done by men.
Yep.
Agreed. I agree.
Oh, also, I'm sitting here.
Oh yeah.
Also,
Ooh,
Tim
magic.
decided to tag team.
There's two Tims here.
Yeah, exactly. Where did I put my beanie?
Cool.
We actually
I
have
know what a
multiple
beanie is.
studios. They're all identical.
Multiple
Everyone is actually
beanies.
sitting in their chairs.
By the way, there's
We weren't
too many
switching.
people in and out. I need to put my mask on.
Oh my gosh,
I actually brought my mask and my
Look at
aviators.
Seamus is wearing it over the headphones.
That's
I
great.
just really want to be very careful about COVID.
Oh,
so
get-
how many
oh my
people have used this
gosh.
microphone tonight?
I like
Wow.
How many people have used this microphone?
There's-
I'm right in front of
But
it.
it's actually we're all within the guidelines. So there's
But
I'm just
you-
gonna
they-
pull it back
we're in the
here and
guidelines,
yell.
but it's still
yeah,
a super
do
spreader
it
event.
Smart. I appreciate that.
That's
of it.
true.
Yeah.
Still a
Everyone's from different
super
states.
spreader
Everyone's
event.
from all over the country,
That's
Tim.
true.
You invited me to this because you wanted me to get COVID.
I'm so tired. You notice I'm wearing glasses now.
He is. He
Yeah.
changed out of his contacts. I'm
Because,
so jealous.
Because I'm just it's
I
late. I'm
wanna take my
dehydrated.
eyeballs out,
I couldn't
too.
see. And then for those that
Because
don't wear,
you don't have 20/20 vision.
I wear contacts. Yeah,
Get
yeah.
it? 20/20 vision. I'm sorry. It was a
Oh, I
horrible
got
pun.
it.
It was a
I
horrible
got
pun.
it.
Do you know who's going to win the
Yeah.
election? Is what I'm asking.
Oh, get lost.
We are on track for a tie.
What?
No joke.
Stop
no
it.
joke.
That your hashtag. you are hashtag joshing around.
News.
No.
Fake
I don't
news.
think we're gonna have a tie, but
It's gonna
because
be
But it's
close.
gonna be a tie.
Didn't you say Biden would have to win Michigan for it to be a tie?
Yes.
We're talking about this. Yeah.
yeah, he would have to win Michigan.
Yeah, I don't think it's
You don't think it's gonna happen?
No, I don't think it's
Yeah, I agree.
Wait, what's happening here? So it looks like
Fox News hates
looks like
Trump.
Michigan's
apparently
Yeah,
pretty.
Fox doesn't
weird.
like Trump.
Red.
Looks like Michigan's pretty red. Yeah, that's a
Michigan-
lot of red
Michigan's a
there.
Wouldn't it be
Pretty
funny
red,
if they're like
okay.
reporting accurately and we're just accusing them of hating Trump
Hating
because we don't
Trump.
like the results and if like
No,
Biden wins and we're like they really
No,
hate
because
Trump.
CNN
There's a
is
reasoning.
nicer.
No, I know I'm kidding.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that CNN. I mean, I was kidding, but I didn't realize CNN was
Whoa.
nicer.
Didn't CNN uncall? Like CNN uncalled Virginia,
A
right?
couple, yeah.
Who- wait,
They called Virginia.
Did everyone uncall Florida? Because earlier they were calling Florida and they should just call Florida for Trump. But
No,
they're not
dude.
doing it.
It's so obvious what they're doing. It's
What is it?
If it looks like Virginia, it's like, oh, it's gonna go Biden. Just call it. Florida? Well,
Yeah, it
Well,
could technically.
yeah.
That past
everyone's
4%.
saying Trump's got a 95% chance of winning, but we're not gonna call it.
Yeah,
not
but
really
everybody.
sure.
But look, the
Now they
the
don't
press-
trust the polls.
no, but
Yeah,
the
right,
press the press
exactly.
has these election night events with the press. They have PTSD about Florida because
You're
of
right.
2000. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Florida's
always
been
Wait,
traumatic.
I got it.
Yeah.
a little
Wait.
tiptoeing around that.
I gotta say, there were so many people posting on Facebook. You know, because the people who follow me on Facebook, it's a mix of left and right and stuff. And you know, the other day, it's like Joe Biden's gonna crush you. It's gonna be a landslide. There's all these articles, landslide. Then Jake Tapper apparently earlier in the night was like, well, it was always a pipe dream that Joe Biden would get a landslide. That was just the beginning. That was.
Okay.
Now I'm seeing posts on Facebook where they're like, guys, I'm starting to get nervous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I heard
Ariella-
the
I don't know if
Ozarks
Trump's
are
gonna
really
win.
nervous.
It's funny. Ariella pointed this out downstairs. I didn't even hear. I wasn't paying attention to the television at this exact point, but one of those pundits on CNN was just pointing to a place that was red, and he said 3 times like, "It's not real yet. It's not real. It's not real." It's like,
Oh,
what? It's funny. Like he was
okay.
about that particular state. It was
What
really
is
funny.
wrong
We were
with
laughing
these
about it.
people, man?
No.
Yeah, I think.
If
a
they
little bit
came
of
out right
TBS.
now
Yeah.
and said, you know, Florida was Biden, I'd be like, wow, really? If they were like, oh yeah, and Nevada and Minnesota, everything, Ohio, Michigan, I'd be like, wow. I wouldn't go.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't fall. I would fall.
It's not
Tim.
happening.
You know what I would do? I would go to his inauguration and fall to my knees and go.
Oh,
like
guys,
looking up at
guys,
this guy.
they
Yeah.
just called Texas
For
Trump.
yes.
good old
No,
thank
you're
God.
wrong.
Thank
It's not
God.
real yet. It's not
It's not real yet. Yeah.
They,
It's
I,
not real.
I,
Not
um,
real, I refuse to believe it.
I saw that. I saw that video of the Biden bus surrounded by the Trump pickup
was so
trucks.
dumb.
And I tweeted about it, and I put like
Texas
yeah,
and Florida
Texas
for Trump.
But it's like, no,
Yeah.
no,
And California
no
for
way.
Biden,
So 52%
please.
I don't know,
for Trump,
the
so-
polls
That,
were
that
wrong.
state is so
Yeah.
freaking
No, I think
corrupt,
the
it's
feeling
unbelievable.
was wrong.
Hold
Oh,
No, the
yes,
polls were
and
wrong.
the polls
I mean,
were
yeah,
wrong, for
absolutely,
sure.
the polls
yeah,
were wrong.
for sure.
But
Hold
but,
on.
But from that, from the pickup truck standpoint.
How wrong?
How wrong?
I always go based on the pickup trucks. Which side has the most pickup trucks with flags for a candidate? That side's
Well,
gonna win.
That'll be,
Lady Gaga.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, real
Is-
quick.
He can see the TV and I
Uh,
can't.
The
Republican
sorry,
won Michigan.
With
no, it's in at
50%
50%
reporting.
and the
John James?
yeah, the African American candidate. Excuse me. That's
The,
what's
the,
Oh,
re-
yeah.
the
Yeah.
Republican
the
veteran.
Republican
snap.
veteran. Yes,
Oh,
thank
cool.
you.
Cool.
He's
Woohoo.
he's
up.
and Collins is up in Maine, 52.
So wait,
very
it's,
good.
it's looking
so
like a
far.
GOP Senate.
This is
Yeah, it is. It is.
oh,
actually,
this
yes.
is pretty good. But
The polls were wrong.
But,
Dun,
Get
dun,
ready
dun.
future Senator James, he was much more exciting candidate than Peters. Like nobody could tell you what Peters actually accomplished in the Senate other than stifling the Republican agenda. So
Well, that's enough, though. Stopping
Wow,
Trump
that'll
from
be
bringing
cool,
it.
James.
Yeah,
No,
that'd
I'm
be good.
kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
that's fair. That's fair.
So that means Republicans are actually gaining. So it's
We
going
are,
to
well,
no.
they-
What I
they
mean is it'll
might.
neutralize Hickenlooper.
Yes.
So Hickenlooper takes Colorado.
Okay.
James takes Ohio, and we remain with the Republican advantage in the
Well,
in the Senate.
I should point out that the last time I was here, I said that that Republicans could actually gain seats. So I, see,
Snap,
thanks.
you were
No,
right.
I don't know.
Clairvoyant.
So-
I love it.
Several of these Senate seats
It's
are
on tape.
But many of these
That's
other
right.
states are leaning Democrat. Of these other Senate seats, so it's actually looking pretty good for Democrats.
Well,
Still,
Tommy Tuberville won in Alabama. Who the Republican?
oh, okay.
He was like a football coach that
Yeah,
was. I didn't know anything about him, and in my Twitter they were like, he's a really very very popular football coach, and I'm like, yeah, he's gonna win over Doug Jones.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So here's a question:
Will Drumpf win?
Will Trump? Is it
Will
possible
Trump
we get
win?
another 4 years of fascism in the United
I
States?
hope so.
Will
I
we
will
be
say,
stuck?
I do
You're leaving?
hope so. I hope Trump wins.
You're
Oh,
taking
yeah.
off.
Jack's
Jack's taking
leaving
off.
us.
Jack
He loves
Murphy.
his dog more than he loves us.
It was
We're
good
less
seeing
than
you, man.
dogs.
Yeah.
Alright,
Wish we got more
alright.
time on the podcast together, but
Yeah.
Cool.
Say, you should say peace out to the stream.
we got.
Yeah,
Hold on.
stick
We
your
got
head
the,
in,
we got
stick
the
your head in.
Illinois boys. The Illinois boys
Illinois
here.
boys.
Illinois boys here.
Oh,
Murphy
snap.
Live. Hi.
Jack Murphy Live.
Good to see you guys. See you guys a couple Wednesdays from now.
Cool.
Yeah.
I will. Absolutely, man. Thanks so much for your stopping by. Go take good care of your dog.
Last prediction, Jack.
Okay, all right, cool.
He'll
Thanks,
make a
Jack.
prediction about who's going to win
Tomorrow morning.
Honestly,
Excellent.
wait, hold
Good
on.
timing.
I
It's
had
not
two
that-
things up
it's
here.
not
What
that
happened?
outlandish. We
That's
actually
really not.
might not know.
Yeah, I know.
Bye, Jack. Thank you,
He
man.
probably won't because New Jersey's not going to start counting. But
So rude.
New Jersey's blue. No one's
yeah,
gonna care.
no one cares.
This is the thing.
Here's the thing.
The Illinois boys has just been broken up.
Oh man.
He's gone.
He's gone.
But this
I'm
is
sorry, guys.
all right.
I blame.
yeah, so-
I blame the arrogance of Seamus. He
Me
wanted to be
too.
the front man.
He did.
right.
He
Look.
had the beanie.
That's not arrogance. Humility's about knowing your place. I know I belong in
Oh,
front.
that's right.
I would be the
There
best
you
possible
go.
front man for
I
the
love it.
Illinois boys.
I love it.
The Illinois boys.
I love it so much.
So
Guys.
the Illinois boys and what did Biden say the other day? The poor
The
boys.
poor boys. Yes. Poor boys.
boy.
That
Poor
made me
boy.
want a
I'll
sandwich
I'll
for
be
some
the
reason.
poor boy. How's
Yeah, you
that?
can be one of the
That
poor
sounds
boys.
awesome.
I only do one video a week.
I'm curious, Tim. Earlier you mentioned this. With the polls, you said that the polls were wrong.
Look at
I
this
think it was-
guy,
it was
yeah.
after you referenced Texas specifically. How many points have they been off by at this point? Because everyone was saying the polls would have to be off by 7 points or so for
billion.
Trump to
A
win.
billion?
They haven't been off by that much.
Okay, that's what I figured, but I'm wondering.
But what was Michigan? Michigan was polling for Biden, and now it's looking Trump. Ohio was slightly for Trump, and it's looking stronger for Trump. So it's only. So they're going to tell you the polls weren't wrong, and that's technically the truth, the best kind of the truth. Because
technically correct, the
it's-
best kind of correct.
It's within the margin of error for the most part. But the problem is if they consistently are hitting the margin of error, and then it throws all the forecasts off, it's like, what good are you?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
were wrong again.
Seriously, why
Yeah.
should we ever
Okay,
trust you ever
and
again?
now Fox is saying it is Virginia going to Biden.
Really?
Yeah.
They just made the thing pop back up. Race called.
Yeah, it's 67%.
Wait, Trump's 50%.
Oh, Connecticut
What?
is
Oh,
Biden.
okay,
Oh
okay.
no,
67%
it's all over.
call.
all over.
Like
You
Connecticut.
think, I don't know if Biden.
New
might have
Jersey.
Connecticut. Hold on a second.
That's it. New Jersey went Biden.
Wait a
Wow.
second. Jersey went Biden?
The
Yeah.
polls were right.
Oh my goodness.
You know,
What about
Southern New
Illinois? How's
Jersey.
Illinois doing?
Illinois
How's Illinois
is
looking?
700 electoral votes for Trump.
Wait,
700?
the Illinois boys did not turn.
That's some Biden numbers right there.
Like a lot.
700%.
700 million.
700 million electoral votes.
700 million electoral
Okay,
votes.
wait. We got an update. We got an update.
Spaghetti sauce.
Switch to
That's
Predicted.
right.
Predicted now has Trump at 60 cents and Biden at 38. So Biden made some big gains.
He did.
But Trump has still flipped his position with Biden according to the prediction market.
But earlier it was like 80, right?
It was 80 earlier.
So wait, these are the Vegas odds?
No, this is predicted.
Okay.
These
predicted,
are
I'm sorry.
people online making their predictions based on what we're seeing. So what you need to understand is it's not polling data.
No.
It's assumptions based on all of the different people, but I would call that a distributed computing model.
I would agree.
All of these different people are buying into Trump because they truly believe he's going to win. You wouldn't put money down that you thought you were going to lose. They think they're going to win.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
If you have, I don't know how many people they have actively on the site, but that's a massive amount of people calculating the data coming from all these different news networks. You got to understand too, the people buying shares aren't all watching Fox or CNN or ABC.
don't
You've got
care.
all different people watching all different networks, making their best guess.
Well, and I think
Wisdom of the crowd.
They're like Robert De Niro in Casino at the end when he's watching all the big screens and betting on sports.
You know-
right? Is that what you were saying?
I don't know that reference.
Oh, you've never seen Casino?
No.
Oh,
A movie Tim hasn't seen.
an amazing,
My
amazing
goodness.
movie.
have you
but
seen The Lion King?
but there was a visual.
Yes.
Good film.
Yeah, when Scar is like,
Watching all the
You know,
TVs.
Yeah, watching all the
Dude, when
TV.
Scar's betting, dude, I
When he's
honestly couldn't
betting at the
believe that.
casino.
I saw that movie where the college kids go and count cards and then get beat up or something by Kevin Spacey.
21.
Was that what it was? Was
Yeah.
Kevin
Yes,
Spacey?
it was.
That's awesome.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Trump's odds have gone down, but he's still the favorite to win, according to the prediction.
And
What-
how much
what
have you
a-
bet on Trump?
Nothing.
Tim Pool was literally
Some
just telling
dude-
me
You're
he
hedging
bet
your
all
bets on
his ad
Biden.
revenue.
Some dude put $5 million down on Donald Trump.
Good
He
for
said
him. I hope
that he
wins
met
it
with the
back.
Trump. He met with the Trump campaign, and then was convinced and went out and put down $5 grand.
So I could
$5
get my
million.
surprise.
No. Think about it.
Billionaires
think-
getting richer.
I
Yeah,
think-
I know.
Man.
and he stands to win 15 million because the odds had Trump, 3-1 or whatever. But I'm willing to bet this guy went to Trump's campaign, saw their internals, and saw their data, and was like, and this thing you're seeing in the press, fake news.
I mean, just look what they did in Florida.
Yeah, they said they had Florida for Biden.
But apparently,
PA.
apparently Trump's ground game was so much better in Florida because Biden, they just kind of assumed.
Because Biden was in a bubble. Biden was in like a Pope mobile with a hazmat suit on. And he never had any human contact at any of his rallies. It's almost like people don't trust you when you act like that. It's almost like there's something that it communicates implicitly, even if you're not attempting to communicate it, that makes people not like you.
So I'm pretty sure that we're all going to be banned.
Yeah, I hope so.
We're all going to be banned because in the coming days, there's already a lot of earlier there was some dude posted on Twitter that they were throwing out Trump votes, and so I guess some municipal board put out a statement saying we're launching a criminal investigation, and Twitter actually started blocking people from.
Yeah, it's gonna look real shady
crazy
in this
because
investigation.
it was like trying to debunk fake.
It's gonna be
And it was
real
a public
shady,
Instagram
bro.
post. It's
Right.
not like it was a fake thing.
Yeah, it's
This
like
person
Oh, that's a good
had an
point.
account with going back months or years.
they left the
It's
city
not
on
like
a
they just
freighter from Grimhaven Bay
materialized this thing, and unless it was some really
in
deep
the
game
Oakmont
where they're
Chronicle.
like, okay, we're gonna make this look like Hunter Biden's
Yeah.
emails.
Well, and even if, here's the thing, like, even if it was sketchy, or
All right, well, I'm gonna wrap it up
it's
soon.
pretty selective.
This whole
Yeah,
election is
exactly.
gonna be completely shady.
It's one sided.
So,
flowing in one direction.
I mean,
Fire.
hold
And
your
so right
breath
now they're already saying
on what this
Trump
is
may be
gonna
winning in these
turn
places.
out, because it is going to be a
Yeah.
protracted
And
election.
there's 400
Guaranteed a
candidates
protracted
in
election.
Virginia yet, so
You're not going
it's
to
like
know
we just
for
pulled the
a
number out of
week,
our hat.
and there are going to be lawsuits, and there are going to be rulings,
days.
and
There's gonna be a ton of lawsuits.
all of the hanky-panky going on in this election
Like,
is going to be felt days from now. Days from now.
and I say.
Yeah, he won Texas. He's got Texas and Florida, which pretty much honestly wraps it up. If he gets Pennsylvania, boom, done. You know, I was hoping he would landslide and call it a day. I have seen the Dagon movie. I love it. I've seen most Lovecraftian film, anything with a Lovecraftian theme, and I have seen that and I like it. It's really a good film. The Dagon cult, baby. All right, man. It's freaking after midnight. I'm gonna wrap this shit up. Love you guys. Don't stay up too late. Don't worry about this. Live your life. This is like ridiculous nonsense. It will not be resolved tonight. It will not be. Watch all you want. Watch until the sun dawns, and it is not going to be resolved. It won't be resolved for a long time. And there's going to be some crazy shit going down. Just be ready. Stay close. Have a couple weeks' food. Don't go out unless you have to. Use your head, okay? And thank you, TIMPOOL, for providing this coverage on the Fancy Action Now. TIMPOOL, official election night coverage on the Fancy Action Now, along with the Sinking City. What more do you want for free, bro? Huh? All right. This is LVO Tour, Fancy Action Now. God bless America. Good night.